Another one from Guna Chims, who says, Las Palmas play one of best football in La Liga.
Why are you reading it in Japanese?
Because I think it's come from Spain.
Transfer fees up. Season tickets up. High prices up. Why the blooming heck are you still up?
Do you know what time it is?
Topical sport and debate worth staying awake for. The Two Mikes.
All night long.
On Talk Sport.
All night long.
Look at the light.
Lying in bed, smoking drugs and having illicit sex. That's what it means.
Is this what further education did for you?
Most students do about 4 hours of work a week. I'm telling
shocking.
you. It means you go to the bank and say, can I have a student loan, please? And they say yes. And then the first 3 weeks of your first term, you spend all that in the pub drinking bombers.
Did you get a grant to go to the University of the Trent?
I got a full grant.
Yeah, and what did you do with that money?
I spent it all in the first 3 weeks.
On what?
Drink.
This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mikes, and I'm very, very happy to tell you that it's time to say a very good morning and start of another week to Mr. Mike Parry. Very good morning to you, Mr. Parry.
And a very good morning to you, Mike. And I noticed that the England manager, Gareth Southgate, gave a rousing speech to the squad.
Southgate.
To the squad as they gathered today.
Yes.
To start their preparations for the two internationals coming up, away in Germany, of course, on Wednesday.
Wednesday, that's right, yes.
That's in Dortmund, I think,
Mark
isn't it?
Saggers will be over in Dortmund,
That's right, yeah.
Along with Stuart Pearce, I believe.
With Stuart Pearce, that's right. And then, of course, the crunch game.
The crunch game,
the qualifier against a
Lithuania.
Team from Eastern Europe, Lithuania, that's right.
I've got this chair, which is very badly put together, I'm afraid. I may have to change chairs.
Why didn't you make preparations for the show?
Well, I didn't realise until I
leaned
leaned back in the chair that it goes all the way back.
Should get these things
It's
straight,
like a sort of recliner.
Now,
Eine kleine recliner.
Now, you're talking about the strip that the team are wearing. And I have to say, very odd. It's not a royal blue, which is Everton blue.
Right.
It's not a pale blue or light blue, which is a Manchester City blue. What do we call Manchester City blue?
That's sky blue, isn't it?
Sky blue, that's right, yeah. So it's not it's more like a Rangers blue.
Well, yeah.
It's a dark blue.
I mean, you would definitely say that it's a Scotland blue.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I mean, I've seen England playing with light blue tinges and things like that. We've seen them playing, I think, in black, haven't we?
Yes.
The rugby team certainly played in black, which looked wrong.
Yeah.
But it seems to me to be entirely ludicrous to play in a colour which is not even in the England flag. I mean, why would you?
Well, you have to suspect
there's white
it is...
and there's red.
Yeah, you have to suspect it's part of a marketing exercise to sell some more shirts, which is pretty cynical, isn't it?
I mean, if you wanted
Shouldn't be done.
You know, if my kids wanted to wear an England shirt, right, and they said, I want to wear a blue England shirt, I wouldn't buy it for them.
No, you wouldn't buy it for
I'd
them,
say, sorry, England don't play in blue.
No, that's right.
You want an England shirt, I'll get you a white one.
That's right. Do you think that because England are going and playing in Dortmund, it does illustrate, once again, the value of Wembley Stadium to this country?
What do you mean?
Well, when you play in Germany, you never quite know where you're going to be playing. You see what I mean?
Why do they not always play at the Allianz Arena, or they play in Berlin sometimes?
Well, they sometimes play at
Olympic
the Olympic Stadium in Berlin, which is the most old-fashioned in the world.
What
do you do? Can you not just sit still and get on with it?
I'm trying to fix the chair.
Why didn't you do it before the show started?
Because I didn't have time.
Oh, come on.
You know very well, as much as I do, that the amount of time... One of the things that I found incredible when I first did radio was this small amount of window that you've got from one show finishing to another one starting.
Yeah, well, you can't work at that sort of pace.
Well, no, I assumed that there would be sort of two studios.
Can we get back to the important issues, please? And that is Germany.
I'm not sure you're telling anybody anything they don't know.
Well, I'm telling people what they need to know, and that is that we're playing in Dortmund, right? Dortmund happens to be 20 miles from Gelsenkirchen, which is which is where...
you know that, do you, for sure?
Sorry?
You know that for sure, do you?
Yeah, because I've seen England play there. They went out to Portugal in Gelsenkirchen, you know, in the famous winking game.
The winking episode, yeah, but why is that relevant to how far it is from Dortmund?
Well, all I'm saying is that 20 miles away from where England are playing on Wednesday is another stadium which could be said to be of international standard. It's in fact where Jose Mourinho won his first Champions League when Porto...
Gelsenkirchen?
Yeah, they won 2-0 there that night.
I mean, the team in Gelsenkirchen is not particularly... a high level. Why do they play games there, then?
Well, this is what I'm saying. And then you've just mentioned the Olympic Stadium in Berlin.
Yes.
And the Allianz in Munich, which changes colour. And
does Schalke play there?
Schalke play at Gelsenkirchen, yeah.
Well, then that's why, then. No, well, they're a Bundesliga team,
aren't they? Yeah, sure they are. But what I'm saying is, you see, that to me does not give a nation a proper football identity if you haven't got a national stadium.
Well,
Italy's the same.
That's obviously why they won the World Cup, because they've got no football identity.
Italy's the same. Italy haven't got a
Germany
national
won the last World Cup. Yeah,
I didn't say that they didn't. What I said is that the structure
obviously having a football identity by having a main national stadium isn't the answer then, is it?
The structure of football across Germany is not focused or defined by one monumental stadium.
So therefore, maybe
like it is in this country.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe that's a good thing, because they've won the World Cup several times.
No.
And we've only won it once.
No.
Therefore, you would think that the German system is better.
No, it's not. It can't possibly be better.
Well,
German would be even better if they had a national stadium.
They'd be even better.
And Italy don't have a national stadium.
Yeah, well, they've won the World Cup quite a few times as well.
France don't really have a national stadium.
They've won it quite a few times. What about Stade de France? Wouldn't you call that the national stadium?
Well, yes, except for the fact that it's
Stade de France.
Yeah, but it's really a rugby ground, isn't it? That's the problem.
Well, they play football there.
Well, they do play football there, but we don't play rugby at Wembley, do we? It is essentially
has been known. They play rugby
stadium.
league at Wembley, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yeah, but I mean, essentially, it's the National Football Stadium.
Right.
I mean, even Scotland have their own national stadium.
What do you mean, even Scotland?
Well, Scotland, who because of the because of the fact that they only have 2 million people, are not a world power in football, have their own national stadium.
So here's your argument so far, right? Yes. Let me sum it up for you.
Portugal don't have a national stadium.
Let me sum up your argument.
Spain don't have a national stadium. No, they don't. What's the national stadium in Spain?
Portugal won the Euros, okay?
Yes.
Germany won the World Cup.
Yes.
Yeah. You're saying that they are wrong, and Scotland and England, who've won nothing for centuries, basically, are in the right. And because we've got a better identity of football with Hampden Park and Wembley, that therefore that is the way forward.
Well,
how can you possibly say that when all the teams you've mentioned, Germany, Spain, Italy, Portugal, they've all won things.
But they don't have national stadiums.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Well, if I was a German, I'd want a national stadium.
Why?
Because I'd want to be able to say to people that, you will
come to our national stadium.
You will shake with fear when you come to the German Bundesliga.
Stad,
yes, the Bundesliga Bundestag, or whatever.
You could call it an arena, couldn't you? Because that's what the Allianz Arena is called.
Yeah, I suppose you could.
Bottom line is, I think you've lost the plot already.
No, I haven't.
We're only 10 minutes into the week, and you've already started.
Brazil have got a national stadium.
Complete and utter nonsense.
The Maracanã.
Well, what happened to them? They couldn't even win their own World Cup.
Yeah, but that's only recently.
They got beaten 7-1.
Yes, but
by Germany, who don't have a national stadium. Yes. I mean, how much more evidence do you want here?
Yes, but Brazil are still the greatest football nation of all time, aren't
they? They're not. No,
they are.
Not anymore. They're
not. How many times have they won the World Cup?
Well, they've won it several times.
5 times. And how many times has anybody else won it? Not 5.
How many times have Germany won it?
3.
4. So they're one behind.
They're one behind, yeah.
Without a national stadium. They've done very well, considering.
Yeah, well, I think so as well. Yeah. I think...
Can we not talk about something a bit more interesting than who's got a national stadium and who hasn't?
No, that is interesting. Don't you worry about that, mate.
Yeah, what about Ross Barkley going to Tottenham?
Well, if you
want
to...
It's on the back page of the Daily Mail, which you previously
that makes it
said...
true then, doesn't it?
It's an exclusive by Ian Ladyman, who I have personally heard you complimenting on the old Brazil breakfast show.
Yeah, I sometimes do.
You used to call him an outstanding journalist of his generation.
Well, you can't get it all right all the time,
Tottenham are at the front of the queue to sign Ross Barkley for Everton this summer. Everton playmaker Barkley is back in the England squad this week after hitting brilliant form in the Premier League since the turn of the year.
That's right.
Long-time admirers Tottenham have hardened their interest in the 23-year-old as he continues to prevaricate over his future at Goodison Park.
Yes.
There's a lot of prevarication going on at Goodison Park at the moment, isn't there?
Well, I think you'll find
Lukaku's prevaricating.
I think you'll find that if Ross Barkley does go to Tottenham, it will be because he's been kicked out of Everton, not the other way around.
Kicked out?
Yes, Mr. Koeman has said to him, don't prevaricate on a contract. There's a contract. You are an outstanding young player. This is an outstanding football club. Sign or leave.
Right.
That's the instruction that's been given to Ross Barkley.
So
if he goes to Tottenham, it's because he's been kicked out.
Well, presumably it will be also because he wants to play in the Champions League, as do all players in the Premier League.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be a case. And if he sticks with Everton, he might play in the Champions League. Yeah,
but if he goes to Spurs, he will definitely play in the Champions League.
He will definitely will, yes. So if he wants to make that choice and wants to go there, he's a Merseyside boy, and he may not resettle easily in the south, but if he wants to take that risk and go, then that's up to him. And as I say, if he doesn't sign a contract soon, he's going to be booted out anyway. Yeah. So it's a technicality.
It seems to me that he's in the same boat as well, which is unfortunate for Everton, as Lukaku. That basically, if they hold on to him and he doesn't sign a new deal, then he's not worth any money. So they have to sell him to make some money back, don't they?
No, not really. Not unless if they hold on to him long term.
Well, that's what Koeman says.
Then that's a gain. You know what I mean?
Well, no, because if they hold on to him until such time as his contract runs down,
yes,
then they can't sell him for any money.
No, that's absolutely true. But what I'm saying is that the hope is that by the time you get there, Everton are so much more a contender for top honours that he won't want to go anyway.
Well, yeah, except he may not have that time in his sort of locker, as
Could
it were.
be.
He might wish to go and play Champions League football next season.
Could be.
Along with Mr. Lukaku. Now, the other story I'd like to draw your attention to very quickly, before we have to stop for a moment, is, do you remember when I said to you last week, this is a big deal about Wayne Rooney no longer being part of the England setup.
Yeah.
He will not get any more caps, right?
Yes.
On the back pages this morning, Rooney heads for England exit.
Yeah.
Right? He didn't turn up for Gareth Southgate's presentation to the squad because he is now out of the picture.
I thought he was injured, and that's why he wasn't in the Manchester United squad on Sunday.
He was available for selection.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Well, apparently he requires rehabilitation back in the Northwest.
Well, lots of people require rehabilitation back in the Northwest, but he himself has now been, I would say, completely and utterly sliced out of the England setup. So we can talk about that a little bit later on.
Well, I mean, didn't we know that already?
Because you remember I said to you last week, nobody's really making much of this, and I'm sure they will make more of it in the days to come.
Yeah, Southgate
because
never
said it's the end of Rooney's England career.
Yeah, but we knew that.
No, we didn't.
That.
He didn't know it because the reason he didn't go to China is because he wants to get more caps to beat Peter Shilton's record.
No, we all knew last week when the squad's announced because Gareth Southgate never said, I've been informed by Manchester United that Wayne Rooney isn't fit. He just said...
He said he's not picking him on this occasion.
That's right.
And he may make himself available for future plays for England. But I'm telling you, and I told you last week, which you hadn't thought of, that in fact this is the end of his career at England.
No, I'd thought of it, don't worry.
No, you hadn't. I'm afraid not. Anyway, we've got lots more to do, including a conversation with Tim Vickery, who'll be telling us...
£101 for an England kit.
101 quid?
£101.
What, for the blue one?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want one. Do you?
£101, wow.
Or
for a child's 84.
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
84 quid for an England kit. That's
shocking.
For a child, that's outrageous.
So that all these useless administrators can continue to ruin the England football setup and get nowhere, basically. Unbelievable. This is TalkSport.
The Two Mics, simulcast across the UK on TalkSport and Talk Radio.
That boy needs therapy. Psychosomatic. That boy needs therapy. Psychosomatic. That boy.
This is TalkSport. We are the Two Mics. There will be, of course, another episode of Heroes and Villains coming up a little bit later on as well. Plenty of Heroes and Villains over the course of the weekend as well. Lots and lots of tweets here. Lots of people having a go at you for suggesting that some of these countries don't have national stadiums.
Well, they don't. To state the
Scottish
fact.
Paul says, what a plate pork in the
stadiums.
Olympic Stadium isn't such a dump after all. He sent you a very nice picture of the Olympic Stadium.
Where?
Well, that is the Olympic
in
Stadium.
Germany.
There's one in Berlin. There's also Stadio Olympio in Italy, isn't there?
Hang on. I've been to both of them.
Yeah.
I've been to the one in Germany for the World Cup final.
Okay.
And it is a magnificent stadium, even though it's old and it has pillars, but it's an architectural masterpiece.
But one of the reasons we're being
told... And the one in Italy, I went to the Champions League final.
Well, that is the Stadio Olimpico.
Yeah, but it's the fans are far too far away from the pitch in that one.
The Coppa Italia final is played there, apparently.
Sorry?
The Coppa Italia final is played there.
It's where Messi scored his only headed goal in a final when they beat United 2-0.
Chris says, I'm crying here after Porky's latest rant summed up as England and Scotland are an example to Spain and Germany due to their national stadia.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I think it's a badge of pride to have a national stadium for your football team.
Dom says, mad ramblings from Porky already. Can we have him breath tested?
Hey, that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
And here's one from Kenny, who says, starting my 3-hour drive, Kemaman to Kuala Lumpur in West Malaysia.
Oh, yes.
Who better to share it with than the fantastic Two Mics?
Oh, well, that's very kind of you.
Charlton Kev has also given us some information on the M4.
Yes.
He says, a heads up to drivers on the M4, junctions 13 to 12 closed.
Right.
Sorry, but I'm working out here and needed that part of the road closed. Sorry to the road users, he says.
Right, OK. 13 to where? 14.
13 to 12.
To 12. Is that round about the Swindon?
It's out that way, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
It's out that way.
Perhaps a bit beyond Reading and Newbury and all that.
Beyond Newbury, I'd say.
Basingstoke, beyond Basingstoke.
Well, yeah, of course, if it's out by Swindon, of course it's well beyond Basingstoke. Basingstoke is in Berkshire, isn't it?
I know that road very well. Yeah,
Germany have 2 national stadiums, Porky, says James. Olympiastadion, Berlin, and the Allianz Arena, Munich.
No, the Allianz is the home of both Bayern Munich and TVS, isn't it? And it changes colour depending on who's playing.
Well, Munich 1866.
Munich 1860, that's right,
What did you call them?
TVS.
What's that?
They used to be called TVS Munich.
Did they?
Yes.
When?
Well, when they were.
Well, before 1860.
That's right, yeah, before 1860.
Well, surely that was when they were founded.
No, I think they're TVS Munich 1860. That's what they are. Yeah?
Are you sure?
Yeah, of course I'm sure.
I don't think you have any idea.
Of course I'm sure. I know these things.
No, I don't think you do.
Now, what do you make of these outrageous stories that Jamie Vardy... Sorry, what are you snickering at? Jamie...
It's CSV, apparently.
That's what I said.
You said CVS.
What?
You said TVS.
No, I didn't. Anyway, these outrageous stories that Jamie Vardy has received death threats and is being held responsible by a section of the fans for rounding on Claudio Ranieri and being the sort of pack leader, which led to his departure.
Without wishing to diminish the serious nature of these death threats, I mean, a lot of people get death threats.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
I mean, we've had death threats here, haven't we?
Yeah.
And some people have been critical, actually, of Jamie Vardy, saying, of course, he doesn't deserve to get them and he should never have to put up with that. Yeah. But why bother telling anyone about it? Which is quite a good point, actually.
No, I think the fact that it's become public is good because
why?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because a lot of the people who make these death threats are weak
planks.
Yeah, they're weak, sad, half-baked little people, and if it's all anonymous, they can...
It's like all these keyboard warriors on Twitter.
Yes, it is.
I've had one all weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, telling me how rubbish the show is, how useless I am,
Exactly.
All this kind of nonsense.
Exactly. They hide behind, anonymity. Now, when you come out and say this is actually a criminal offence, and you report it to the police, because if he's right and his wife and children in a car and some out-of-control deranged fan is trying to threaten the driving safety, threaten the driving safety of his family, then he has to go to the police. And once the police are involved, and Jamie Vardy being a very high-profile public figure...
What is wrong with these people?
Well,
what do they think gives them the right to interfere in somebody's, life outside of the football pitch?
Well, because they do. They think they own the football team because they buy a season ticket or something like that. But the point is that...
But it's the same attitude that I've always railed against, which is that they think they can also shout abuse at people on a football pitch, that they can throw things at them, coins, whatever. They can hurl abuse at the manager. It's wrong. It's got to stop, really.
Of course it does. But the other point you've got to make here is that I don't know if this is true or not, although, funnily enough, Matthew Syed, outstanding sports columnist in the Times...
You're a big fan of Matthew Syed,
aren't you? Yeah, big fan, he wrote a piece this morning...
Former ping-pong champion.
Yes, that's right. He wrote a piece this morning in which he said, without a shadow of a doubt, the players rounded on Ranieri and were responsible for his sacking. And Matthew lists the evidence as being the attitude...
But they keep denying it, don't they?
They do keep denying it.
Why don't they have the cojones to come out and say that it's true?
Well, I can't answer that because perhaps they feel that, it was a shameful episode, but it had to be done. Nevertheless, what I'm saying is, if Jamie Vardy was the ringleader of a group of players who made their feelings known to the owners of the club, which led to Ranieri going, then actually they should be given a pat on the back.
But that's what
because
I'm saying.
Ever since Ranieri went, the upturn in fortunes in the team has been dramatic.
Well, this is why
Jamie Vardy actually did Leicester a favour. He didn't do them any harm.
I would have thought that indeed even more reason why you would claim it.
Yes, exactly.
And say, look, we found ourselves in a situation where for whatever reason the system wasn't working anymore.
Right.
Ranieri and the players had sort of relations that irretrievably broken down.
That's right.
And so we went to the owners because we thought that we needed to do something, or else we were going to get relegated.
That's right. Did you see Gary Lineker's explanation of why Leicester collapsed so quickly?
What's his explanation?
Well, his explanation was that they got caught in a spiral of adrenaline, and that each game in the last
of doom.
No. Each game in the last 14 or 15 of last season, when they first saw the light over the hill that they could actually win the Premier League, every game they were pumped massively with adrenaline. It was a must-win game.
Yes.
And then when they got over the line and they'd won it, then the first game of this season wasn't a must-win game anymore, and that adrenaline factor was missing.
Sure.
And therefore, it was Ranieri's job to try and instill something else into them.
And don't you think also that they would have had the view that it was, because everyone was saying it was such an incredible performance, such an amazing kind of fluke, that they could never repeat it.
Yes.
So I think mentally they were going into every game thinking, well, we'll never do this again.
That's absolutely right.
There's no point in even trying.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. What I mean? But no, if this has been happening, it's a damn disgrace, because you're absolutely right. These people who issue death threats, they do it thinking there'll be no comeback on them. And I hope they do get a comeback. I had a guy once who got very abusive towards me. He started delivering letters to the...
Is Alan Brazil you're talking about?
No, that was another one. That's a joke. No, this guy started delivering letters to the front desk downstairs.
Oh, yeah.
And he sent...
What, hand delivering them?
Well...
What, turning up?
Nobody ever knew where they came from.
Oh.
They just sort of appeared, and that kind of stuff.
What sort of letters?
Oh, very threatening letters. He was going to kill me and all
Really?
this kind of stuff because I'd insulted his mother.
Had
you? What had happened was we'd been on air when there was a railway accident, and a train came off the rails. Fortunately, it wasn't a serious one, but whoever the bulletin reader was from. Whoever the person announcing the news from the railway company was, said, first of all, that counsellors have been sent to the families of those involved.
Yeah.
And I made some comment about not much good sending counsellors. I said, this is all airy-fairy nonsense. Send some experts along, to...
That's rather thoughtless of you.
To make sure everybody's all right.
Eh?
Well, no, these counsellors...
Well, people need grief counselling when they suffer grief.
Well, anyway, I made some reference about counsellors. Anyway, this guy's mother was a counsellor.
Right.
So this guy, he got really, and then he started ringing me.
Really?
Ringing...
Well, ringing the office here.
Ringing the office here, threatening... And anyway, we managed to trace the number back to a business in Finchley in North London.
Oh, yeah.
And I gave all the information to the police.
Yes.
And they got to his company. But once they got to his company, because there was something like 200 lines inside the office, they couldn't identify exactly who it was.
Right.
But the minute I announced on air that we've now handed to the police, and they know where this guy works, it all stopped.
Oh, right.
So as soon as they know they're going to be exposed, they just shut up.
Cowards.
Yeah.
Absolute cowards.
Yes.
Anyway, don't go around harassing people's families. Don't go around harassing
me.
footballers. Don't even go around harassing Porky. That's my job.
Exactly.
For heaven's sake, this is Talk Sport.
Crazy, but that's how it goes. Millions of people living as hoes. Yeah, but maybe it's not too late.
Now, got quite a few tweets and things coming in, a few announcements that we have to make. There's one here from somebody calling himself McWills.
McWills!
He says, would you...
Are you there, McWillie?
He says, would you and Porky please wish Roger Williams, a massive fan of the show in Edinburgh, a fabulous 44th birthday?
Right.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And what's his name again?
His name is Roger Williams.
Roger Williams, I want to wish you a very happy 44th birthday. I hope you have a great, great day.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.
Yes.
Now, there's a couple of others, I think, if I can
There
find
was a chap
them.
who was 57 who I saw earlier today.
Oh, yeah?
And I meant to try and sort of post the tweet. So I'm sorry. Have you found that one? 57?
I haven't seen that one,
57-year-old?
but I have got one from Michelle.
Yes.
Who posted this on Facebook? Who
Right.
said, "Could you please say happy birthday to my son,
Yeah.
Matthew Walker,
You're right.
who is 30 today."
Okay.
He said he absolutely loves the show, and I'd love to surprise him with a mention.
Matthew Walker, 30 years of age.
Yeah.
Have a great birthday, pal. And remember, you have your whole of your life in front of you, so use it well, pal.
Pal.
Yeah.
Do you not think you overuse that word?
Why?
Pal.
It's a
Well, I've
terms
said
of
to you
endearment.
before, I find it quite an obnoxious and objectionable word.
Okay, well, I don't care what you think. What's the next one?
That's as much as I've got at the moment, I'm
Right.
afraid.
Okay, there's somebody
The
out
one
there...
that you've lost
Yes.
is clearly one that needs to be
Sorry about
repeated.
that. I'll find it before the end of the show, but I'm just saying now, somebody, I don't know what he's called actually, but somebody who's 57, happy 57th
Heinz, is it?
birthday. What?
Not
No,
Heinz.
it's not a 57 variety. Very happy birthday to the 57-year-old whose, I think his wife
So
or
if you're
girlfriend.
57?
Yeah, that's right, requested an endorsement. Well, there you are. You've got it from me, okay?
Here's
and I'll
one-
find out who you are.
All right, there's one from James.
James.
Says, any chance of a birthday shout-out? I'm 39 today, so that's not the 57-year-old.
No, James,
And it will make
39,
my
happy
day.
birthday.
James
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Leeds.
Yeah,
and he says,
definitely.
Porky, any advice is appreciated. I don't know what sort of advice
What do you mean,
want,
at 39?
James. Yeah.
Your life is going to spill out in front of you. Do not waste a day. That's what I say.
Is that what you say?
Yes.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
very nice. Anyway, how was your day yesterday after we finished the show at 6 o'clock? Because it was quite a late sort of show for us. Normally we don't work those kind of
Yes.
hours, do we?
Well, listen, I've come across a phenomenon, actually, which I find quite strange.
Really?
Quite strange.
Oh,
Now,
What sort of phenomenon are you talking about?
well, it's about pub etiquette, actually. Okay.
Etiquette.
Etiquette.
It's not etiquette, it's etiquette.
Etiquette, okay.
Right.
So you go into a pub, right, and you decide you're going to have something to eat, and...
Is this what happened to you over the weekend?
Well, it didn't happen this weekend,
I see.
but it's something that's been bugging me.
So you've had this bothering you and you haven't shared it with us?
Well, I'm
surprised at you.
Yeah, well, I'm going to share it now.
Okay.
So, anyway, I'll tell you what it was. It was the weekend before last when the England game
Last?
was on against... who did they beat before Ireland?
Was it Italy?
Italy, yeah.
It was a bit of a struggle, that game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. That's right. Yeah, Italy went ahead 10-3 at some stage, yeah. So anyway, I get into this, it's a Wetherspoons, actually.
Was it?
And it's in rather a good area.
What a surprise.
Balham is...
Balham, it's South London. You see, the average house price in London is now 650,000.
Something like that, yeah.
No,
Well,
it is exactly that.
yeah, years ago, when I was a young reporter in Fleet Street, when I first got here, we rented a house in somewhere near Balham, and it was a dreadful area, and couldn't wait to get out. But now it has been regentrified, as a lot of areas have, and now it's very smart.
Well, Balham and Tooting have always been sort of on the cusp of okay, but they're pretty. I would say that they're pretty central now to London.
Yeah, they're upmarket. So it meant that this Wetherspoons I went into is quite upmarket, you see. So,
how can you tell you're in an upmarket Wetherspoons? There's no bar brawl going on.
No, not at all. It's just the quality of the person in the actual establishment itself.
The quality of the person.
Yeah, they all seem to be professional people,
Really?
talking about building buildings and all sorts of things, you know what I mean?
How do you know they're talking about building buildings?
Because I listen to people. That's part of my job. I'm a people watcher. So anyway...
So you're a watcher and a listener?
Yes, that's right,
Oh.
yes. So
multitasking.
So I order the old the fish and chips, as usual, even though it was a Sunday. And that's all okay, and I've got my paper spread out my table, and then all of a sudden...
Do you have to give a table number?
Yeah, you give a table number, yeah. And all of a sudden, a guy comes over, and without saying anything to me, without saying, excuse me, can I take this chair, or do you mind if I, or whatever, he suddenly starts pulling chairs out and starting to sit down with his girlfriend.
Right.
And I said,
what sort of age was this guy?
This guy was in his 30s.
Okay.
And I said, whoa. He said,
whoa.
Yeah,
what, are you doing some kind of Borat impersonation? Whoa.
Yeah. So I said, what are you doing? And he said, he was an Irish guy. He said, I'm just having myself a drink. What's your problem? I said, well, you're not...
you.
Yeah, I said, you're not sitting here. Yeah,
Wasn't Martin McGuinness, was it?
That wasn't Martin McGuinness, no. I said, well, you're not sitting here. He said, why not? I said, 'cause it's my table. I said, you didn't even have the courtesy to ask me.
Yeah, that's a bit rude, isn't it?
Yeah, I said, I'm sorry, you don't even know whether I'm waiting for some friends to come. He said, and who says it's your table? And then his girlfriend realised that he was...
a really nice sort of person in this place, I can tell.
His girlfriend then realised he was ill-mannered. And
was she also Irish?
I don't know because I didn't hear her voice. But the thing was, there was a table next to mine which nobody was sitting at,
right.
But he wouldn't sit at it because it still had some dirty plates on it. They hadn't had time to come and clear them.
Well, that's understandable.
Well, no, it's not. You should. I said, there's a spare table there, mate. He said, it's a dirty table. I said, well, get it cleaned. I said, be not sitting at my table. Now push off, right? So
this is how bar brawls start in these places.
I know, yeah. So his girlfriend...
Mate, to be fair, if I had been him,
yes.
I would have said to you, excuse me, do you mind if I sit down here?
And I would have said, yes, I do, actually. I'm waiting for friends. I always tell that lie.
Yeah.
So that people say, all right, okay.
Because you're never waiting for anyone, are you, ever?
Well, I always put my coat on the chair opposite.
Do you know that song by the Rolling Stones, I'm just waiting for a friend?
I'm just waiting for a friend.
You could say, I'm actually not waiting for a friend. Change the words.
Well, I could, yeah. But anyway, so...
we'll have to play that later.
So then I thought, the damned impudence of these people.
So where did he go then?
Well, he sat on the table next door.
Oh, the dirty table.
Oh, yeah, but then he tried to get really funny. He said, well, you can move roles. And he put a dirty plate on my table, So, and I just said...
Why does this stuff happen to you all the time?
I don't know. So I just said, pathetic. And then I summoned a waiter over to take the dirty plate away, right?
I mean, only you could find yourself in this kind of horrendous...
Well, why would anybody behave like that?
Well, because you're in Wetherspoons, first of all.
Yeah, but it's an upmarket one, real quality one.
The only difference in that one and the one in Trowbridge is that if that had happened in Trowbridge, the guy would have lamped you.
Yeah, well, it's not my fault the way people behave. Anyway, so what happens then is...
Right.
About 40 minutes later, because the pub's crowded, because people have come in to watch the rugby.
Okay.
An older guy, a much older guy, came and, without saying anything again, there was only one chair left at my table then.
What, you mean people had taken the chairs away?
Yeah, they're taking that.
So you're sitting at a table for four
with
one
spare chair.
with only one chair at it,
that's
and
right,
the one you're sitting in.
No, I was actually sitting on a bench, you see, on one side of the table,
okay.
which could have taken 2 or 3 people. This is the whole point. This is why people thought it was a bigger table than it was.
Okay.
So anyway, so what happens then is that this old guy comes over, but I think he was a little bit doolally or something, because without him saying anything, he just suddenly pulled the chair back, put his drink on the table and said, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" And he said, "What?" And I said, "You can't sit there, mate." I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "You're invading my space and you're not sitting there." And then, funny enough, there were 2 young fellas on a table on the other side of me who immediately saw the situation, leapt up and said, "Oh, come and join us, we're going in 5 minutes." So this old guy, who was a bit of a nuisance.
So they could see, basically, that you were creating all sorts of problems.
No, I wasn't creating any problems.
So they were trying to make this guy feel at home.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Because you were being so horrible to him.
Yeah, well, there was 2 of them, wasn't there? It was only me. I couldn't sit with some old bore, could I, And
well, maybe he was thinking the same thing.
Well, why did he want to sit down with me then?
Well, maybe he was trying to make friends. I mean, some people go to these places in order to talk to somebody because they live on their own. They don't have any interaction with anyone during the course of the day.
Yeah.
And they go to the pub to meet some friends that they don't know they've got.
Sorry, do I look like a branch of the social services?
No, you don't.
Right, good.
But a lot of people go to the pub to be sociable.
Yeah, okay, well...
You just go there to get bladderated on your own.
No, I don't know. So anyway, this old guy was literally steered away by these 2 professional guys. I mean, quite young. They're in their sort of 20s.
Professional.
They were very kind, they take this old guy away. But then there was an old guy at the table, like...
So it's the third guy?
Yeah, the third guy, 2 or 3 away.
Why didn't you just... If I'd been you, right, here's what you should have done. You should have moved the chair. So there's no chair there.
Well, where would I have put it?
Well, put it by another table.
But they were all full, so I would have been sticking on someone else's table. Anyway, this old guy then on a table 2 or 3 away from me. Yeah. In fact, opposite as well, so to speak.
The third guy.
The third guy.
Right.
He made a rude gesture, towards me because he said,
What, you mean stuck 2 fingers up to you?
Well, a waving sort of gesture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, if
he's not wrong, is he?
If I'd have been, a man of sort of violent tendencies or something, I could have gone over and I could have sorted him out. You know what I mean?
How'd you get yourself into this kind of stuff?
I don't know, because
That's a shocking thing.
I didn't do anything to provoke anybody or anything like that.
The management didn't come and have a word with you.
But this goes back to my central point, which I've said for a long time.
Yeah.
You see, what happened was this old fellow was going to sit there for an hour with, half a pint of beer. Now, because since then I've noticed I've seen people sitting at tables in bars for an hour with one of them's drinking a cup of tea and the other one asks for literally a glass of tap water from the bar, okay? Now, what establishments are going to have to do, because pubs get more and more crowded as people, society grows on and pubs close down and all this kind of stuff, the table should be paid for by the hour, the occupation of the table. And then there is no row.
Then you can have whatever you want on the table.
Exactly. And then there's no row about whose table it is and what you're having on the table.
Yeah, but you see, the trouble is they will want a certain amount of turnover per individual, won't they?
Yes.
So that, sometimes that's not enough, because what they want you to do, and we know this from talking to some of our pals in the business, right?
Yes.
Is they want spend per head.
They do.
They want somebody to eat. They want somebody to drink. They don't make much money on the drink anymore.
No, they do. But you're absolutely right. But what I'm saying is an additional source of revenue would be to book the table at £4 an hour. So if I came in and I said, look, I'm going to take that table, mate, I want fish and chips, I want a bottle of Pinot, please. How long do you want the table? 3 hours. Put a £12 charge on top of my bill, and it's my table. Do you see what I mean?
Well, what if you only want it for, say, half an hour? What do they charge you then?
They'll charge you for an hour. They charge you £4 basic for an hour.
I don't think I'd like that.
Oh, I think it's great.
Sounds like you'd be going to some sort of DOS house.
No, £4 an hour, £1 for 15 minutes, I think is a very fair charge. And I think I
disagree completely.
Look, if somebody's going to come in
You're running a restaurant, I'm not paying to have the table.
Right, hang on. If somebody comes in and they're just going to use you as an office and they order 1 cup of tea and a glass of water...
That's fine.
Right, and they go and sit down at a table for 2 hours, well, that is unacceptable. What you say to them is, you say, yeah, OK, how many hours do you want the table for? They say, what do you mean? And they say, well, I'm sorry, our tables are rented by the hour.
With
£4.
Where people use places like that for Wi-Fi access and all that kind of thing. I'm pretty sure there's some place in London tried this and it didn't work.
Well, I'm telling you, if I was running an establishment like that, that's what I would do.
Just stay home.
And I would solve the problem.
That's what you should do. Stay home because you're a danger, you're a menace to society.
Not at all.
You're antisocial.
Not at all.
You are likely to cause a breach of the peace, public disorder, and all manner of unfortunate stuff whenever you go anywhere because you're strange.
Well, I mean, so you'd accept some old dosser sitting at your table, would you, to bore you to death for a
Well, I wouldn't go to a sort of place where they hang out.
Most of the time when I
wouldn't go there in the first place.
Most of the time when I'm in a pub and I have manuals and journals and newspapers in front of me, I am in work mode. and I will not accept somebody trying
I thought
to.
you were just in dipso mode.
Trying to invade my private space and to distract me from my lifetime mission, which is to communicate and inform.
Maybe what you should do is go to a place and book a private room. That would be the way to do it.
Yeah, well,
we'll talk some more about this.
Wouldn't mind that, yeah.
That would be a different thing altogether. Coming up next, though, it's time for Tim Vickery.
The Two Mikes, simulcast across the UK on Talk Sport and Talk Radio.
Take me on a roller coaster. Take me for an airplane ride. Take me for a 6-day wonder. And don't you pull my pride side by side. What's real and make believe? Baby James and Acapulco, we are flying down to Rio.
This music can only mean one thing. It is the arrival imminently of Mr. Tim Vickery from South America, where they have a lot more fun during their international breaks than we do. We'll come to Tim in just 1 second. Let me read you this. Mark says, hand-waving gesture. Maybe he just wanted to borrow the salt shaker from you.
Yeah, it could be.
Which is unlikely. And then here's one from Chris, who says, Porky is on form already, the self-proclaimed man of the people. Why would I want to talk to him? Do I look like a social hub?
I said, do I look like a branch of the social services?
Yes.
To get it absolutely right.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Quite a lot of people still talking about the National Stadium business. So let's talk to Tim about that. Tim, a very good morning to you. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning to you, gentlemen. Is that true that the restaurants don't make much money with the drinks anymore?
No, they don't.
No, the margins are really, really narrow. So
1 or 2p on a pint of beer,
because
literally.
I'd always assumed, when you go out for a meal, I've always assumed that, go easy on the drinks because that's where they make the big profits. But that's no longer true then.
Certainly not in pubs. I mean, I think if you're talking about restaurants where they can mark up a nice bottle of wine, they might be doing okay. But on a sort of on a daily basis in a bar, in a pub, the amount they make on beer is absolutely minimal, cider and stuff like that. So they tell us anyway.
Yeah.
Now, we had a debate earlier. I don't know if you heard it before we get stuck into the World Cup qualifying scenario for you. Porky was saying that he believes that it's better to have a national stadium. I've got a tweet here from James. He says France have actually got 5 national stadiums. Spain have got 4.
They haven't. They all belong to clubs.
Well, no, they have. They've got Stade de France, Velodrome, Parc de France, 1 World Cup, 2 Euro titles. Brazil having a national stadium and other countries in South America having national stadiums, does it help them or hinder them, do you think?
Well, it depends a little bit on the size of the country. And you couldn't really do it in Brazil, I don't think, just because the country is so vast.
Yeah.
And if you restricted all your games to one part of the country, other parts of the country would feel left out.
But the Maracana
and I think that's what Germany's situation and Spain's situation is.
But the Maracana is recognised, isn't it, as Brazil's national stadium?
They don't play there very much.
Well,
in fact, that they've tended to avoid playing there because that's where the fans tend to be most impatient. It can be the most difficult place to play.
Right.
And when they were really in trouble in the 2002 World Cup, which they ended up winning, but they were really in trouble in qualification, they ran away from the Maracanã and they ran away from Sao Paulo as well, which is like the next city.
Sure.
They would play anywhere else just to get away from those fans. Most of the other countries in South America are very, very centralised. They have one dominant city, and the national team tend to play all of their games in one stadium in that dominant city. I'd imagine that a lot of people would see England as a little bit similar, and London is so much bigger than any other city in the country that it does dominate so much that, I don't know, I think the opposition, they always want to come to Wembley, don't they? And especially after the FA have paid so much money to build the place.
Yes.
There's not really the option of taking too many games anywhere else.
And also if you talk about the fact that these are not national stadia in other countries because clubs play there. I mean, next year Tottenham are going to be playing at Wembley every home game, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's temporary, isn't it? It's temporary.
Well, that's just setting us up for a future when Tottenham reach every FA Cup final, I think.
It could be.
And lose, right?
Yeah.
Now, tell us about the World Cup qualifying scenario, because we always have this conversation when international break time comes. We hate it over here, and over there you get to watch some decent football.
Indeed, yeah, we love it. Seconds out, round 13.
Yeah.
It's the best World Cup qualification competition on the planet because it's so competitive. And we get all our players back, who we loan to you for 9 months of a year. And we get the Messis and the Neymars and the Suarez and Alexis Sanchez. We get them all back. So now's the time to enjoy them. We're now moving into the last third of the competition. 4 automatic qualification places. Brazil, Uruguay, Ecuador and Chile are currently in them. The team finishing 5th will go into a playoff. That's currently Argentina, with Colombia lurking just behind. Now, the two absolutely crunch games, first against second, Brazil visiting Uruguay. No Luis Suarez for Uruguay, he's suspended. No Gabriel Jesus for Brazil, he's injured. Brazil are
Does that mean
qualified.
Suarez hasn't travelled over there? Because that will be pleasing for Barcelona, I guess, right?
He has travelled because there's another round coming up on Tuesday. So he'll be in action on Tuesday away to Peru. Okay. Brazil have practically qualified already. I think they wouldn't mind going a goal down just to see how the team reacts. But the real crunch one is Argentina against Chile. By the time that one kicks off, Colombia will have played against Bolivia at home and almost certainly beaten them, which will push Chile at the kickoff down to 5th and Argentina down to 6th, outside even the playoff places. Now, the next game coming up for Argentina next Tuesday is away to Bolivia, right up the Andes, 3,600 metres above sea level at La Paz, against Bolivia, where they lost 6-1 a couple of campaigns ago. They hate going there. So that means that the pressure is really, really on for Argentina at home to Chile. If you get a chance to watch it, I think it kicks off 11:30 UK time. If it's on some TV or even some hooky internet stream, watch that one because there's real promise in Argentina against Chile.
There's going to be some fascinating stuff. But, I mean, I suppose, again, because it's at this time of the year, there will be some European clubs, particularly those that are still in the Champions League, watching sort of anxiously from behind the couch, won't they be? Because they don't want any injuries.
Won't there just? And remember, this time last year, it was the first time that the MSN trio all went back to playing World Cup qualification. Right. Messi for Argentina, Suarez for Uruguay, Neymar for Brazil. Before that, they'd all been kind of suspended or injured, and they hadn't played. This time last year, they came back in March for 2 rounds, and when they went back in the couple of weeks immediately afterwards, Barcelona's season tanked. It's when they all dropped off just that little bit. They were beaten by Atletico Madrid in, I think it was the semi-finals of the Champions League, and their challenge in the league just dropped off a little bit as well. So you're quite right. And Barcelona will be watching these games kind of behind the couch with their eyes in front of their face. Ideally for them, none of them will play. They'll all pick up mystery viruses that will keep them out for 2 weeks, and then they'll be all right for the Champions League. So this is a worrying time for those European clubs.
OK, now, Tim, what's your inside info on the presence of Leicester being in the last 8 of the Champions League, the unknown force who could yet cause another seismic shock across the continent?
And isn't it incredible? And obviously, no one tells them that what they're doing is impossible. And because they don't know it's impossible, they keep on doing it. And I suppose you could look at this one way and say, again, this doesn't reflect that well on the Premier League. If they're the only club standing in the Champions League, it doesn't reflect well on those clubs.
Well, that's a bit unfair, really, isn't it, on Leicester? And their achievement to say, nobody else could keep up with them.
It is a magnificent achievement, and I tend to think that the games against Atletico Madrid are not going to be for the faint-hearted. I can't imagine a great spectacle. It's in a way, it's two quite similar teams. Yeah. Now, they both love the counter-attack. They can both really grind things out, and there's no way that Simeone there is going to underestimate Leicester. And surely Atletico Madrid, with all the experience they've got in the last few years of Champions League finals, surely they're the favourites. But never, ever write off this Leicester and let the fairy tale go on. It's fantastic.
No, it is indeed. But isn't it slightly puzzling as well in some aspects, where you've got teams like Spurs who just don't seem to get on terribly well in the Champions League, and you got other teams like Arsenal who go out. I mean, somebody was pointing out, Leicester have done in their first ever Champions League what Arsenal haven't managed to do in the last 7 years, which is get out of the last 16.
That's right.
It's an extraordinary thing that they've done, because so many very successful Premier League clubs just can't seem to make the Champions League work for them.
Indeed, and Leicester have got a simple model of play, and they know what they're doing, and they play within their limitations. And it reminded me a little bit, and there is something kind of deliciously retro about this, isn't it? And it reminded me of like Aston Villa in 1982. Another team that had a simple kind of 4-4-2, well-defined tactical model. There weren't really too many stars in that team, although I think Gary Shaw, had he not picked up injuries, was going to be a world-class striker.
Yeah, I agree.
But it was a hard-working brilliant team that played within their limitations. And, fast forward 35 years or whatever it is, the model still works for Leicester.
That's right, absolutely. Was Peter within that team?
He was, He was a
that's
centre
right,
forward who scored the winner.
Yeah, he did. Of course he did, yeah.
Yeah, he scored the winning goal, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he certainly did. We'll have to see how that pans out. But I was the one, Tim, who always said that Leicester would get by Sevilla once they'd sacked Ranieri, because the difference since Ranieri's gone is so dramatic, and that's a statement of the obvious. But what is perhaps not so obvious is why it's all happened. And Gary Lineker came out this week and said, well, the sense of adrenaline that they had in every game towards the end of last season suddenly evaporated, and Ranieri couldn't replace it with anything else.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, listen, go on. Unfortunately, we're out of time again because Porky, you've been droning on and on.
You've been droning on. I've hardly said anything.
Well, no, you've said loads about yourself, not about South American World Cup qualification. But never mind. We've got loads more to come, including Heroes and Villains and, of course, Postman Pork. This is Talk Sport. We are the two Mikes. Got a lot of tweets coming in on all sorts of subjects, right? Here's one from somebody called Rapid who says, Porky seems to be more hospitable than he was last week already. He may be a little less abusive, but I'm sure it won't last.
No. I'm never abusive. It's just that sometimes you are so... what's the word I'm looking for?
Irritating.
No, not just irritating. You just become like a one-trick pony. You try to...
You see, that's an insult.
No, it is,
You just insulted me.
Yes, I did,
You just called me a one-trick pony, which I think I certainly am not.
You think having a little dig at me about every 10 seconds is what the audience want to hear.
That's not what I'm doing.
And it becomes repetitive and boring.
But that's not what I'm doing.
So I just ignore it now, so don't worry about it.
Oh, OK.
One of our favourite people has died, David Rockefeller.
He's not one of my favourite people.
Well, he's one of my favourite people.
Well, what do you know about him?
Well, I know that he's one of the richest men in the world.
Right.
Right, America's they call him here the sign of America's first billionaire dynasty, who expanded U.S. banking to the communist East and had a passion for Beatles for some unknown reason.
Beatles?
Not the Beatles.
Not
Beatles.
the Beatles.
No, Beatles.
What, Beatles like the creepy crawlies?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. Well,
he
used to collect them or something.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think he used to give money to research into them and all that kind of stuff.
How bizarre.
It says the 5-foot-high Rolodex in his 56th floor office in Rockefeller Center, New York.
Yeah.
A Rolodex, for those who are unaware of it, is an old-fashioned way of keeping contact phone numbers in your... Well, it's literally a rolling file,
it's a wheel, isn't it?
A wheel, that's right, yeah. It says the 5-foot-high Rolodex in his 56th floor office in the Rockefeller Center, New York, contained 150,000 names who were referred to as my close friends.
Really?
One has a relatively short time on Earth, and if you want to get something done, you pretty much need to know the people who can get it done. I do.
I suppose that's worth knowing.
Yeah.
I wonder who's going to get the Rolodex now, then.
I don't know. Now, to get this family dynasty straight, so David Rockefeller is the third. Nelson Rockefeller was his father.
Was his father, right?
But the founder of the Rockefeller Empire was...
I don't know.
What was the name of the original Rockefeller?
I don't know.
That would be his grandfather. What was he called? I got his name earlier.
John D, was it?
John D.
John D. Rockefeller?
I think it was John D. Yeah, I think John D. He was
they're a banking family, weren't they?
Well, yes, but also the Rockefellers founded Standard Oil. We've had this conversation before,
have we?
Which then became SO.
SO, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That was his grandfather. So that would have been John. Oh yeah, sorry, I've got this now.
John D. Rockefeller.
The last remaining grandson of the billionaire oil magnate John D. Rockefeller Sr.
Okay.
He presided over the family banking and property empire and exerted unparalleled influence in New York and the corridors of power in Washington.
Yes. And presumably if it was Standard Oil that they headed, he was based in Texas as well, wasn't he, at some point? Standard Oil would have been made out of sort of Houston, wouldn't it?
Standard Oil, I think, got its oil from down there, but the actual business itself was always based in New York on the eastern seaboard, because when John D. Rockefeller was creating the empire, he was up against the other great American billionaire dynasties, like, for instance...
The Mellons.
Sorry?
The Mellons.
Not sure about the Mellons.
The Mellons, yeah, they were from Pittsburgh.
Casenoves.
Who?
The Casenoves.
Casenoves, yeah, maybe. But the Mellons were the big family from Pittsburgh.
Were they?
Who I think came through the banking and steel business.
Is that right?
Yeah, and they've got the Mellon Art Gallery just on 36th Street where I used to live.
And the other one, of course, was the guy who invented steel and became a steel billionaire.
Yes.
The Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
Carnegie Hall, that's right. And all
they all became big philanthropists.
Yeah, they did.
Somebody actually put on my Twitter line earlier, my timeline earlier today.
Yes.
You know, I can't say I'm sorry to see the end of Rockefeller. You know, he was a parasite. And I thought, well, actually, I mean, he was a very wealthy man, but he certainly wasn't a parasite.
No, he wasn't.
What
he wasn't.
Was a philanthropist.
He was a philanthropist. You're absolutely right. And, you know, I don't know why people have a go against rich people. Rich people make the world go round. They've got lots of money, and that money...
well, I mean, like everything else in the world,
makes things work.
Yeah,
you know?
But I mean, not all rich people are great, and not all rich people are terrible.
No,
you know,
true.
you can't just make those blanket statements.
No,
can
it's
you?
true.
Because then you'll know better than anybody else.
It's true.
Because by coincidence, funnily enough, the Forbes richest list has come out again. Their global global list of billionaires, and the top 10 is still headed by Bill Gates, but several people have sort of moved around it in various different forms. Michael Bloomberg is in at number 10. Mark Zuckerberg is still in there. Somebody mentioned to me earlier, there's some woman who's an iron ore billionaire-ess that could
from
become
Australia,
the first Mrs. Power.
BHP
Mrs.
Bilton
Parry.
or something, isn't it?
Her
company
name,
she runs,
I think her name, she comes in as somebody like, is it Inditex?
Yeah.
Is that the name?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Amancio Ortega.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Is that her, the iron ore person?
Yeah.
And Trump has apparently fallen down the list.
Oh, really?
By quite a significant margin.
Oh, dear.
He said his wealth was hit by a $66 million political spend on his successful presidential campaign, plus the $25 million he had to settle the litigation on the all the students who sued him from Trump University. And he's also missed the big Wall Street rally following his election because he had to sell off all the shares that he wasn't allowed to hold now that he's in the White House.
He did, you're absolutely right. Now, talking about people who make things work, by the way, why don't some people who make things work just go back to bed and stop making things work? Like, for instance, these idiots who have now decided to close down another major bridge in London for up to a year.
Yes.
Up to a year.
Westminster Bridge, this is, right?
Yeah. Up to a year. Cycle lane works on Westminster Bridge will delay traffic for a year. I mean, the madness goes on.
I know.
The madness of building cycle lanes that nobody ever uses. The madness of building cycle lanes covered in a blue painted type substance, which means cyclists often fall off their bikes because the surface is not stable.
Well, exactly. And also having seen the nasty nature of making congestion so bad in London that people have just given up trying to get across it.
Yeah, they have,
by any means other than by tube, right? Because if you remember, they've only just recovered, I suppose, from all the roadworks down on the embankment.
That's right.
So that you couldn't get from somewhere like Tower Hill over to Westminster in under an hour.
Yes.
They're now not content with that. They're now going to make it impossible to get across the river.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. And if you think I'm moaning about this because it's the capital, I have warned you before, folks, and I warn you again, this is all going to come to your towns eventually. What starts here spreads out across the country like a cancer to stop people in their cars moving around. You know, there's a very small group of people in this country who have seized power of transport to try and force all motorists off the road and make all roads accessible only to cyclists or pedestrians. Now, why do we, the majority, who are people who fund cars and drive cars for our own convenience, spend our hard-earned money, why do we always allow this tiny minority of left-wing nutty...
Well, they're not just left-wingers. I mean, Boris Johnson was responsible for bringing Boris bikes to the country.
Take us back to the Middle Ages type nutters. Why do we allow them to dictate the way we lead our lives? For instance...
Well, I'll tell you why. Because, unfortunately, for most people, getting involved on a day-to-day basis politically is not something that they do because they're too busy getting on with the rest of their lives.
That's
so while they're not paying attention, all of these maniacs actually then pick up the tab and run off with it.
Oh, that's a very good point. The only reason Boris Johnson got involved is because Boris Johnson doesn't really have any strong political principles except those that suit him.
Exactly.
And he decided the metropolitan elite in London were in support of cycle lanes, so he thought he would
and
be
he
as
had
well.
he quite liked cycling around.
Yeah, he liked cycling around. It's quite good.
Mm.
But you see, what gives the game away about the reasons for why they're doing all this is that one aspect of this new cycle lane across Westminster Bridge, which, by the way, is one of the most beautiful bridges in the world, because on the other side are the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben.
Absolutely
so
right.
So it's really iconic. But
actually now with the opposite, on the south side, you've got the London Eye.
You have.
And the old former GLC building. I mean, it's a beautiful part of the country.
It certainly is. But guess what they're going to introduce when the work is finished?
What?
Motorists will be restricted to 20 miles an hour.
Well, I mean, good luck getting above 15 miles an hour anywhere in central London.
I totally agree. But once again, the whole idea is to bring London to a standstill and blame it on cars.
Yeah.
And pollution can only get worse if cars go slower. I wish these idiots would remember that.
You can see what's going to happen in the summer, can't you? What they're going to do in the summer is they're going to start issuing these blanket alerts.
That's right.
And they're going to say that today you will not be allowed to bring your car into central London.
Right.
That's what they're going to start doing.
Yeah, because too much pollution.
Now, a couple of quick,
they've created it.
A couple of quick tweets for you.
Yeah.
One from Matt. He says, I have to agree with MG. Pal isn't a term of endearment. It's more often than not coming across as condescending and rude.
Really?
Yeah.
Not in the way I use this.
Okay.
Hello, pal. How are you? You know? Hi, pal. You all right, pal?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Not sure about that.
Okay, you my pal?
Here's
We're
one
pals.
from...
We're pals.
One from Weege says, never mind Rockefeller's Rolodex. Porky can fit all his friends' phone numbers on the back of a stamp.
Yeah, that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
That is a bit harsh.
Yeah.
And also, here's one from Thomas. He says, MG, if you're a one-trick pony, as Mike Parry has just said, well, Porky's definitely a donkey. Or an ass, perhaps.
That's a bit harsh.
That is a bit harsh. Now, Postman Pork coming up next.
Okay.
Then, of course, we've got Sandro Manetti in Hollywood as well. This is TalkSport.
The Two Mikes, simulcast across the UK on Talk Sport and Talk Radio.
Hello, this is Tim Vine on Talk Sport. It's Mike Parry's postbag. I can't wait to see what's in there.
Postman Pork, Postman Pork, I eat my chips with just a fork, 'cause then I can still talk.
Was that you singing along with yourself there?
Yes, it was, yes. Yeah.
That is really quite freaky.
Well, it's not, because that's the way the Beatles used to do it, wasn't it? They used to sort of lay their voices over each other.
Well, that's
you know
called
what I mean?
harmonising.
Harmonising, that's right,
but
yeah.
that's normally because they would sing in two different tones.
I tell you what, we've got a pile of stuff here. Should we get on with it?
Yeah, let's go.
Right, OK, I'll get on first with the big one. It says Postman Pork,
Okay.
Talk Sport, 18 Hatfields. A lot of postage paid on this one. How much is it? £3.35. Thank you very much indeed.
Wow.
And I'm not
That's
sure.
quite a lot of money, isn't it?
Where's it come from? Bristol, I think. But anyway, look, let's open this up.
It's not from Alice, is it?
What?
Not from Alice, is it? We haven't heard from Alice since she sent that one letter in, surprisingly.
24 years I've been living next door to Alice.
Yeah,
right,
who the hell
here we
is
go.
Alice? As we
Right,
used to
there's
say.
a lot of stuff in here, so I better get it all out and find out what's going on. Right, here we go.
Yeah, go on.
Once again, it's the immensely popular Rooney Tunes.
No,
there
for
we go.
God's sake, why do they keep sending in that? There's a lot of these books out there.
You know, this is a great book. Look, I'll show you all the pictures in it. You see what I mean? It's great. Anyway, there we go.
Yeah.
So this comes to Postman Pork from Leeds, actually. James Griffiths in Gilderston, Leeds.
I thought you said it came from Bristol.
No. I said I
Maybe
thought
it was
it
in
was
Bristol and he
No,
sent
it
it
wasn't in
from there.
Bristol. Anyway, he sends a... Here we go. This is a what's it called?
What?
It's you know, when somebody sends you a self-addressed envelope. Self-addressed envelope to go back. That's good. Okay, a lot of postage on this as well. Thank you very much indeed. Now, although
Well, what does it say, though?
right, it says, dear Mr. Parry and Mr. Graham, thank you very much indeed for letting me contribute to Postman Pork. Towards the end of last year, a very dear friend of mine, Angie, succeeded in getting both of you kind fellows to sign Rooney Tunes for me. As a brief reminder scenario, dida-dida.
What do you mean, dida-dida?
She sent the book.
Excuse me, he's taken the time to write this. You should read it out.
I know, we've got a lot to do, that's all. She says she sent the book to you. We're both so bladerated at your show in Liverpool, we failed to catch up afterwards to get the signatures on our books.
Yeah, don't worry, so
well,
is he.
You know, bladderation in moderation, please. I have now enclosed Angie's copy and was wondering whether you would be so kind as to sign it with a personal message from each of you and return in the enclosed prepaid jiffy bag. We're both massive fans of you chaps.
Very
and
kind.
it mean a lot.
Yeah.
Well, we shall certainly do that. P.S. Porky, it would be particularly special if you could make reference to Derek in Pencourt. Or, as your tea reviewer, I can reveal there are no plans for a second series, both of which absolutely crack Angie up. Right, that will be done. So that is from
Now, don't forget to
James.
do it, though.
No, we'll do it. That's from James Griffiths for Angela Anderson. So that will be done. Thank you very much indeed.
All
Okay,
right. Put it
Get
to
rid of
one
that
side.
Right, let's open a letter now. Here we go. Postman Pork. Here we go. And we're going to try and get through this bundle I've brought in tonight.
Okay.
Do keep
Where's this
them-
one from?
Well, I'm not sure. Let me have a look on the front. Doesn't say.
No.
But do keep the letters coming, please. The address is Postman Pork, Talk Sport, Towers, 18 Hatfields, London, SE1 8DJ. Right. Dear Porky, I think you will like reading Beachcomber's article in the Daily Express, 14th of the 3rd, 17. Very clever. By the way...
There's still a Beachcomber in Express?
Yeah, they've still got it,
I thought they killed him off.
No, they've had it for years, haven't they? I'm very aware of it. 100 years old and still playfully forgetful. Hearing that a chap named Shakespeare has just been appointed manager of Leicester City Football Club, I had a strong feeling that I'd heard the name before somewhere, but try as I might, I couldn't think. It's very good, and then it's a summary of all the Shakespeare plays. This comes from, let me see, Karen Angus from Tayside in Scotland.
Oh, very nice.
Shakespeare always. She says...
by Dundee.
Yeah, she says, Porky, I can imagine you as a hero Spitfire pilot in the Second World War. It was good to hear you compiled a helicopter. Thank you very much indeed from Karen. Well, remember, we talked last week about me piloting a helicopter.
Well, you said that you piloted a helicopter, but nobody actually believed you.
Well, they do, because they sent in pictures of Pat Malone, believe it or not. Did you see them?
Yeah, but that wasn't a picture of you piloting a helicopter.
No. But
see, my belief about that story was that you sat with Pat Malone in a helicopter.
Yeah.
At one point, he said, "Why don't you grab the joystick
Not at all.
and see what happens?"
Not at all.
And you probably drove it for about half a second.
Open a package now, Postman Pork. It's a
Yeah.
package of something in it. Thank you very much indeed. I've opened it. Right, here we go. Well, this is very kind indeed. Guess what it is?
I don't know. What is it?
It's a puncture repair kit.
Oh, very good.
So somebody's taken the mickey out of the fact that I had a couple of punctures in the old Merc.
Well, you've had about 7.
Very expensive Merc, of course. And to be perfectly honest, although I'm very, very grateful to whoever sent this in, I can assure you that whatever's inside this little plastic box would not be sufficient to mend the punctures in my...
It's probably a bicycle puncture repair kit, isn't it?
Well, actually, I think it's a bit more than that, because, look, there's a few little spanners, or whatever they are.
Spanners?
Well, there's a big spanner. There's a spanner.
That's not much of a spanner.
Not much of a spanner. There's the glue.
Yeah, I really don't think you can use this on your car.
There's the bit of, you know what that is? That's the stuff that you rub the wound with, you know what I mean? To make it rough, you know what I mean? And
Well,
then,
it's a bit of sandpaper.
the sandpaper, that's right. Then you put the plaster on the top, okay, and you mark your...
What on earth are you talking about? If you try and do that with your car, right? How much does your car weigh?
I don't know, half a ton or something.
Probably, yeah.
And you've got your little yellow crayon to mark the wound, the hole. That's right.
Well, you keep calling it a wound.
And you've got these, whatever these are, plastic things to...
Let's have a look at those.
Yank the wire off. Here, I'll give
that
it a
might
list.
be to pull it off the actual
I think
wheel
you're
hub.
right. Give that to old MG to have a look at while I'm still opening. And this comes from...
I'm pretty sure this is not for a car.
By the way, this says
To be honest.
Swalk, so it means sealed with a loving kiss. I take it's from a lady.
Might not be.
It's from Dawn.
Dawn?
Yeah. It says, Dear Sir Porky,
Tyre yellow ribbon.
as you have had a few problems with the tyres on your car, on your fantastic Mercedes car, I thought the enclosed gift would come in useful in the future. Your greatest fan, Dawn Kieballs Brown.
Kieballs,
yeah. Dawn
Kieballs?
Dawn Kieballs Brown, yeah.
Is that some kind of a nickname?
No, it's Kibaalls. Thank you very much indeed, Dawn. You're very, very kind. Let's open another letter,
Rubber
shall we?
Solution.
Can't get through all the packages.
Apparently it's flammable, this, by the way.
Flammable, yeah. Well,
I really don't think this is for a car.
I'm not planning to set fire to it any time soon.
£273.16. That can't be right.
No, that's not what it cost, obviously. Right, here we go. Here's a letter here.
Puncture repair kit with tools.
Well,
tools.
who's this from? Let me have a look here. This is actually Get Active and Get Inspired, scrap the BBC licence fee. Well, you know, there's a big debate going on about that.
Well, it's on the front page this morning.
To
actually.
TalkSport, the home of good banter, it says it's a bit... I don't know, it goes on about copy to big ears. I think they're having a go here at Gary Lineker or something on Match of the Day, which is not very kind. But anyway...
It's not a political slot, this year.
it's not a political slot. I'm not sure who this has come from because it doesn't say, but thank you anyway for contributing.
Is it a petition of some kind?
I think it's just scrap the BBC fee.
Okay.
Which is a totally different subject. Let's open another parcel, because we've got parcels here and I like to open them. By the way, in between time, I'll read this postcard.
Yeah.
RMS Titanic, built in Belfast by Holland and Wolff. Centenary Memorial, 1912 to 2012. Well, that was a few years ago, I'm afraid.
To get here, isn't it?
It has taken a long time. But this is from... it says...
from Belfast?
It's from Belfast. No, it's not from Belfast.
No?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sure?
Oh,
well,
it
that's
is.
where Titanic
it
was
is.
built, isn't it?
Royal Mail. Yeah, it could be. Anyway, it's...
Royal Mail.
I can't really make out. The writing's not very good. Thank you very much indeed. Anyway, I think it comes from Swola Bector or something like that.
Who?
I don't know. Perhaps you can
Swola
make
Bector.
who that is at the end while I open this parcel here.
Swolo.
Yes.
Swolo Berber.
Yeah, okay. Right, let's open this one. So we've got here we've got a letter.
Yeah, I can't make
and
this
a
out
book.
at all.
Right, the book is New York Times #1 bestseller, Friday Night Lights.
Who's it by?
That's just about everything you ask for in a sports book. It's by... do you know what? It's by H.G. Bissinger.
Bissinger?
Yeah. In the state of
not familiar
Texas,
with him.
American football's a religion. And nowhere is more fanatical about its football than the small town of Odessa. Every Friday night from September to December, a bunch of 17-year-old kids play their hearts out for the honour of their high school in front of 20,000 people. So how many people you get attending the high school games?
Oh, yeah.
20,000?
Well, like college football is massive. I mean, you
massive,
get like 100,000 people in the stadiums for that.
You do. Right, let's read who the letter's from. Let me see here. Right, it's from... It says, Dear Postman Pork.
Yeah.
I enclose the book Friday Night Lights, Town of Team Dream. It's a Pulitzer Prize winner. He is the former editor of the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Oh, there you are.
I've been to their offices.
Have you?
Yeah. What was the story I was doing in Philadelphia? I think it was something to do with a child who'd had a liver transplant, an English child
Yes.
who was over there in
That
hospital.
sounds familiar.
Yeah. I highly recommend...
Nice town, Philadelphia.
This is a very nice town. Love it, yeah.
Did you meet him then? The editor?
I don't know. I might have done. Depends what year it was. I highly recommend this book. It will re-educate Pork to see the NFL in a different light. All the best guys. Paul Flanagan. Is he the author?
No.
Oh, no, H.G. Bissonner. No,
Bissonner's the author.
Paul Flanagan. Paul Flan. He comes from Barbara Avenue in Leicestershire.
Why are you giving his address out?
Well, just thought I would. Actually, it's not even...
Barbara Avenue?
Yeah.
What, as in B-A-R-B-O-U-R?
No.
Or as in Barbara Ann?
Barbara
Avenue. Barbara Avenue.
But it's not actually in Leicester, it's somewhere else, so I'm not going to give away where it is. It's a little village.
Oh, why did you say it was in Leicester?
In Leicestershire.
I see.
Leicestershire.
Right.
But it's in a little village.
Okay.
Very great name, by the way, this little village.
What's the name?
Kirby Muxlow.
Kirby Muxlow?
Yeah, Kirby Muxlow. It's nice. Listen, we must get on.
Well, you have no trouble finding his house now.
So we've got it. Oh, dear, we've only got 1 minute to get into...
Yeah, have you seen the time?
Another letter, don't worry about it. Come on, we'll get this one. Let me see here.
By the way, Amancio Ortega is Spanish and is the owner of the Zara clothing chain and is a man, not a woman.
Who's that?
Amancio Ortega.
Who's he?
He runs Zara.
Zara?
Zara, Zara the shop.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, we were talking about the iron ore woman, and we thought that was
We're talking now about Postman Pork, right?
All right.
Dear Postman
correcting
Pork,
an error.
I listen to you every night. I was listening on Tuesday night, the section about nettles. My mother told me to go and collect a bush of nettles. She suffered from arthritis in both legs. They were supposed to help arthritis. She strapped them to both legs. I don't know why it helped. She eventually got new hip joints in 1975. Well, it didn't work then, did it? It was a fantastic. She was able to walk again. My father, just like your father, was in the D-Day landings in 1944. My mother got new joints in the 1990s. My mother in 1964 was left with 7 children when my dad died at 54 years of age.
That's
very
7
sad.
children.
My oldest brother was in the Merchant Navy. My sister was 18 years older
It's like
than
one
the
of
rest.
your stories.
Hang on. My sister was 18 years older than the rest of us.
What's the point?
I looked after my oldest brother till he died at 73 years of age.
Okay.
I also looked after my mother at home till she was 93 years of age.
Wow.
I did not want her going to an old folks' home. No. By the way, I like the Beach Boys and the Beatles. Bruce Mason Harvey from Forfar in Angus, Scotland.
Forfar.
Thank you very much indeed. If you're reading this out,
right.
I am 67 years of age.
What
a
Bruce.
lovely letter to tell us all about your family and everything. And,
has he sent any presents?
No, he hasn't, but I don't
Really?
require presents at all. They're just gestures of goodwill. But thank you very much indeed, Bruce Mason Harvey. It was great to hear about your family, and truly, you have a lot to be proud about, both with your siblings and your mum and dad, who are obviously...
Blimey, that's a big letter, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously very fine people.
Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed.
Very
okay,
nice.
folks, well,
Yeah,
that's all unfortunately we've got time for, but please do not stop writing to Postman Pork, Talksport Towers, 18 Hatfields, London, SE1...
There's not much of a haul of gifts this week, is there?
Well, I don't want gifts.
Just one puncture repair kit.
No, I don't want gifts. Really? I want people just to feel I'm here to communicate with. Okay? Thank you for
he doesn't
communicating.
Get any post at home, so it makes him feel wanted.
Thank you from Postman Pork. Postman Pork, I eat my chips with just a fork, 'cause then I can still talk.
I can't explain glacial motion, why Los Angeles don't drop into the ocean. I can't unfold the layers of mystery or piece together the tragedy of history, 'cause those lucky suckers don't have to work. Big 3D billboards and big 30-foot skirts.
This is Talk Talk Sport, we are the two Mikes, and of course, we've got lots more coming up the rest of the week.
Yep.
We've got Porky Vision coming up Wednesday night. We've got Ask Porky tomorrow, the Porky Quiz, which we have yet to determine the subject matter of. Of course, there's been a whole slew of stories about Donald Trump over the last few days. The FBI saying that, they are now investigating whether there was any connection between the Russians and the Trump campaign. We've got Trump losing a bunch of money. We've also now got Ivanka Trump moving into the West Wing and getting all sorts of security clearance to work for her dad, which wasn't meant to happen. Let's go now to Hollywood and catch up with Mr. Sandro Monetti, our man with his finger on the pulse of celebrity life. Sandro, a very, very good morning to you. Welcome.
Greetings, comrades. Well, yes, it's all about Russia here in Trumpland.
It really is, yeah. But I mean, it's like a show, isn't it? Really, the whole Trump presidency. It's not so much like an episode of The Apprentice. It's kind of like a reality show all of its own.
We're only 60 days into the Trump presidency.
Yeah.
It feels like 60 years. And I tell you, the last few hours have just been electric television. Watching FBI Director James Comey give testimony, basically calling the president a liar, effectively, saying that he has no evidence to support Trump's claims that Obama got the Brits to spy on him at Trump Tower by listening into his phone calls, and then furthermore saying, oh, by the way, investigating the President of the United States for potential collusion with Russia here. So, yes, dramatic stuff. Not a day goes by. I mean, showbiz takes second place to Trumpland.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, it's become the big soap opera of the moment. I guess if you're anti-Trump, you're never going to be pro-Trump, and if you're pro-Trump, you're never going to be anti-Trump. I know that might sound a bit obvious, but I mean, are the people actually being entertained by this, or are they all just a bit embarrassed?
Trump, just a couple of hours ago, held his first election 2020 campaign rally in Kentucky. Yes, he's already campaigning for re-election. 20,000 devotees showed up. He didn't mention a single thing about the Comey talk, but, very much sort of preaching to the choir there. And as for the people that hate him, well, I tell you, the nation is incredibly divided, but it's like a huge story comes out every single day.
Sandra, what I don't quite get is that the one thing that spooks financial markets and stock markets around the world, and basically trust in an economy, is instability. And if there's one thing that Mr. Trump, President Trump, the president, has exhibited so far, it's a lot of instability. Why isn't the economy rocking?
Well, perhaps the fact that his cabinet is made up of so many former Goldman Sachs members that they're sort of pretty confident that Wall Street is well represented, and they don't have the normal uncertainty they would have otherwise. But you're right, it's kind of rewriting the rules of the presidency and rewriting the rules of the financial markets as we go.
I mean, it is, because if they think he's going to sort of blow relationships with all sorts of overseas markets, Europe, maybe China, I don't know, maybe other trading partners who are emerging in South America, usually it's a downturn. But that's not the case here. Maybe they think that, well, he's been a successful businessman himself, so he must know what he's doing running the country.
Well, that's what he seems to be telling people, and Wall Street seems to be buying it.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, and ironically, I was just reading with the Forbes rich list coming out that Trump has actually missed out on making a bucket load of money from his share dealings because he had to get rid of them all before he could occupy the White House.
That's right. Even Philip Green's got more money than Donald Trump, apparently, in that latest list.
Now, I was going to say, now, I don't know whether you spotted this story, but Michael Eisner of Disney fame, the guy that used to be the big honcho there, is apparently thinking about buying Portsmouth Football Club. Have you seen that on that side of the pond?
No, I haven't seen that.
Somebody said it's going to be a real
operation for a number of years, so I'm hardly surprised by that news. But Eisner, who you mentioned there, is on Trump's advisory council.
Is he?
He's also said that he's let it be known that he's considering a run for the White House himself. So it could be compete presidency.
Sandra, the other thing is this idea of the president not really living in the White House, still having half his family in New York, and then decamping to Florida every weekend is causing immense problems, according to reports that I've heard, including the fact that when he goes down to Florida at the weekends, the local airport has to ground all planes, and businesses that used to do parachuting and teaching people how to flying lessons and all that are all going bust because the president's around.
That very question was asked in the White House press room today. You're referring to Mar-a-Lago, his luxury resort in Florida, where he spends the weekend. I guess Camp David, the traditional home of presidents, is far too rustic and not flash enough for him. So he goes down there, sees the family, and does business. And Sean Spicer, the press secretary, said, well, look, he's a president who works 7 days a week. The guy never stops, I'll give him that. I mean, he's tweeting at 3 a.m., he's writing executive orders at midnight, and so the presidency and the apparatus of the presidency goes with him wherever he travels, and that becomes very problematic, very expensive, but the White House says, well, it's necessary for the business of government to get done.
Indeed. And Ivanka now, I'm told, is going to be taking up an office in the West Wing, which we previously were told was not going to happen. And I was reading a piece earlier today which suggested that she's now going to be given, sort of top-level high security clearance. So what on earth is she going to be doing?
Well, Jared Kushner, her husband, of course, does already have that clearance. He is, got a job in the White House as one of the key advisors. And I think the indication of what she will be doing is taking on some of the duties normally performed by the First Lady. The First Daughter is taking them on because someone who isn't moving into the White House, of course, at least not so far, is Melania Trump, who's quite happy to stay in Trump Tower. But those duties have got to be done, and, she's going to be taking them. So she is actually seems to be something of an asset for the Trump campaign. Seems to have a popularity across the aisle. The Democrats kind of like her because she has sympathetic views on environment and women's rights, and is offering an olive branch, to be the sort of acceptable face of the rather currently extreme Republican Party. So, maybe she sees a political future for herself. And talking of people in the White House, our friend Kellyanne Conway, it's been revealed what her Secret Service code name is. She's known as Blueberry.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Now, switching on to showbiz very quickly, please, Sandro. In this country, we've got people wailing and collapsing in the street because Chuck Berry's died. Paul McCartney.
Sure about that?
Yeah. Paul McCartney saying he was the father of rock and roll. Keith Richards saying I could never have played a guitar riff without listening to Chuck Berry. What effect has it had on America?
Everyone remembers him as a character in Back to the Future, and that's been pretty much it. And on Hollywood Boulevard, there's been a bouquet of flowers put on his star, but amazingly enough, even though he was the original guitar hero, he's not dominating the news to the extent that he is over in Britain.
Why?
Because even when you get an icon as big as Chuck Berry dying, it's all about Trump.
Really? I mean, was there some resistance because he had such a colourful and controversial private life, particularly in his early years?
Not at all. There's only so much room on the news agenda for stories. And when Trump is story 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6,
It's amazing.
The death of a rock icon only makes number 7.
That is the thing. I mean, it was like that when I was there.
Yeah.
Now, talking of icons, what about Mr. T? Apparently he's making a comeback on television.
No.
I pity the fool.
Yeah, I pity the fool.
Mr. T of A-Team and Rocky 3, now 64. He's back in the showbiz spotlight. In a matter of minutes, he'll make his debut on the US version of Strictly Come Dancing. Dancing with the Stars. We'll see if Mr. T has still got the moves.
Wonderful stuff. And my other favourite story of the week so far is this shirt that Tom Brady won his 5th Super Bowl in, which was stolen moments after the sort of the mad scenes on the field there when that happened earlier on in the year. And they've now they've managed to find the shirt somewhere in Mexico, having been nicked by a sports reporter.
When you say they, it's the FBI.
Yeah.
Not content with investigating Trump's alleged links with Russia, they've also been investigating the theft of Tom Brady's Super Bowl shirt. And, it turned up in the hands of a Mexican media executive who'd managed to get credentialed for the Super Bowl, had wandered into the dressing room after the game. During the celebrations, he'd walked out with Tom Brady's shirt. But the FBI have solved the case. They've reunited Tom Brady with his shirt, so they've solved solve that one. What will they find about Trump and Russia?
Well, I wonder whether they'll now use that as an excuse to build the wall even faster so that it doesn't happen again. Sandro, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us. Sandro Bonetti there, our man, with his finger on the pulse of everything that's happening over in Hollywood, which is closely becoming sort of merged now with Washington, as we were saying. I mean, everything's about Trump. The news agenda's all about Trump. The celebrity world is all talking about Trump. It's quite a remarkable situation.
Quite right.
And he's coming over here soon, I think, as well. We've got lots more going on, including, of course, Heroes and Villains coming up in the next hour.
The Two Mikes, simulcast across the UK on Talk Sport and Talk Radio.
Watching girls pass by, it ain't the latest thing. I'm just standing in a doorway. I'm just trying to
You're going to sing the different lyrics for this.
Well, what is this?
I'll wait till you hear the lyric.
out of this girl's pass.
Rolling Stones, right? It's the Rolling Stones.
Oh, that's the Stones. That's Mick Jagger, obviously.
Yeah, we made a reference to it earlier. Here we go.
What's that?
I'm just waiting on a friend.
Just waiting on a friend.
No, you should say, I'm not waiting on a friend.
No.
It's the Wetherspoon song for you.
No.
Sure, it took a long time to get there, didn't it?
No. I've never heard
Blimey.
that Stones song before.
You've never heard it?
Do you know one of my favourite Stones songs, which has passed people by
You've
for
completely
generations?
forgotten why we were doing that, though, haven't you?
Yeah, because of the story I told you about people trying to invade my private space.
And you're never waiting for anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, one of the great Stones records, which passed out through the generations, but never given the recognition it deserved, was Mother's Little Helper. I thought that was the best
Mother's
Stones
Little
record.
Helper?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. Don't you?
What album was that on?
I don't know. I think it was on. Was it on Through the Past Darkly, maybe, or something like that?
I don't know.
You know. And you go running for the shelter of her mother's little helper. What a drag it is getting old.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what album it's on.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I'm sure
really.
someone will be able to tell us.
Yeah.
Now, how about this one from Nick? He says, Porky was boasting on Sunday about his time spent with David Campese.
Yes.
So I guess he must have met him. Well, we do know that, Nick. We've told the story many times.
Yeah. Travelled around France with him, mate, covering the World Cup.
He's exactly right. Here's one from Meadows, who says, dead right regards congestion. Manchester transport is also a shambles. There's also bus lanes for routes nobody travels on.
That's right.
Did you see
bus
that story
lanes or
today?
cycle lanes?
Bus
lanes, yeah.
For routes that nobody travels on. Well, one of the problems that you have in this country, in various parts of the rural areas as well, is that there's hardly anybody on some of these buses, and the buses go through all these bus lanes, and in fact, there's not really any reason for half the buses to run, because people aren't getting on them.
I'll tell you what, again, I'll have to be London-centric here, because it's what I experience, but I'm sure it happens in every city centre in this country. If I'm walking down Oxford Street, I can sometimes see 7 buses in a queue, trying to make their way along Oxford Street. They're the only vehicles now allowed, them and taxis in Oxford Street. The rest is pedestrianised. And do you know what? If I counted 12 people on 7 buses, it would be a busy day. I just don't know what all these buses in London do.
I know.
Driving around with nobody on them.
I know.
Now, I have to make an announcement.
Oh, do you?
I want to wish
apropos of something completely different?
No, yes, I want to wish a certain person a very happy birthday.
Have you found a 57-year-old?
No, I haven't. Oh, I'll keep looking for that. I've just put out a link, by the way, folks, to Postman Pork, which we did live on Facebook, was it?
Facebook, yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so have a look at that, please, because it's very exciting. I'll find the 57-year-old. I'll go back in this. No, it is to celebrate a birthday today of a special person.
Oh, yeah. Who's that?
That person is 54.
54?
54.
OK, what person is that then?
Mr. Ronald Koeman.
Ronald Koeman?
Yes.
Oh, it's his birthday today, Tuesday?
It is. Yes, it is. Yes.
Tuesday, OK. Oh,
absolutely.
very good.
Manager of Everton Football Club.
Well, he looks very
today.
well on it, doesn't he?
I think he looks very well on it indeed, yes.
Will you be sending him a card or a gift of any kind?
No, I don't get into that. I don't know Mr. Koeman personally. I see him only as the man in whom we have faith.
Have you met him?
Sorry?
Have you met him?
No, I've never met him.
Why not?
No.
Wouldn't you want to, as an Everton fan?
Well, maybe, but I mean, I don't spend very much time in the northwest of England, do I? I'm usually only for a few hours.
No,
before
but
and
he's
after
been
the
down
game.
here quite a few times, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, yeah. No, I don't have a relationship with him like I had with Davy Moyes, who I got to know very well indeed. And in fact, I remember once having a great sort of chat with Davey before a game in a hotel and all that kind of stuff. So, but I wouldn't know Mr. Koeman personally, no. And I wouldn't presume to. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Well, it's very nice of you to offer him a happy birthday wish. Though.
Indeed. Yeah.
How about this story? Space scientists in Aberystwyth believe they have captured the first confirmed UK sighting of a meteorite hitting the moon.
Really?
Now, funnily enough, tomorrow night our favourite astronaut's coming on the show, so we can ask him about this. I wasn't aware that they had a remotely operated telescope at Aberystwyth University.
I wasn't either.
Do you know, I nearly went there.
I nearly went there, funnily enough. We've had this conversation. I went there for an interview in Land Estate Management or something, and no joke.
Land Estate Management?
Yeah, and when I came back, I felt so depressed. I thought, no.
Are you sure you haven't just made this story up because I've told you my story?
No. I thought I can't spend... Well, I think it was the Aberystwyth, did you say?
Aberystwyth University.
I'm sure it was Aberystwyth.
How did you get there?
On a train.
Yeah. From where?
Oh, God knows. Bristol, maybe?
What were you doing in Bristol?
Well, I don't know. That's where I went to get the train to Aberystwyth, I think.
See, this story starts to smell a bit
Does it?
as if you've confused
Is it
with
North Wales,
else.
Aberystwyth?
Well, it's kind of right in the middle, really.
Yeah, that's right.
It's on the west coast.
Shrewsbury, did I get a train from?
You would get a train from Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury.
Right. Yeah, I think that's right, yeah.
Well, it depends where you're coming from, though.
Yeah, well,
I mean, if you were coming from Chester, why would you go to Shrewsbury?
You wouldn't go straight to Aberystwyth, I don't think. Listen, talking about that, actually, it's very interesting that they've got this telescope. Do you know what the biggest uptake in terms of a hobby is for people aged between 16 and 21 in this country?
In terms of a hobby, like sort of an outdoor thing?
Yes, an outdoor one.
An outdoor hobby. 16 plus?
Well, I'll tell you what it is.
I'm not allowed to have a couple of guesses.
Well, you can, but I always think guesses are silly if you could go on forever guessing, and I can cut it short.
Sometimes make some quite interesting radio.
Go on, yeah.
Is it anything to do with skateboarding?
No.
Is it anything to do with a vehicle of any kind?
No.
Is it anything to do with a sport of some kind?
No.
Is it knitting?
No. Well, actually, funny enough, it's not, but...
Is it embroidery?
Well, that is one thing that is taken up, but the biggest take-up is bird watching.
Bird watching?
Bird watching.
Really?
I'm not joking.
That is ridiculous.
The bird watching, far from being the preserve of middle-aged men in camouflage, it has turned out over the last 12 months that birding is increasingly trendy among 16 to 21-year-olds.
Really?
And the traditional twitchers, they are bird watchers.
That's what they're known as,
put this down to Twitter and the power to transmit images of beautiful birds.
I've never seen anything like that on Twitter, have you?
Well, I suppose if you get onto the right sites, you would, wouldn't you? Have captured the imagination of younger people.
I don't find that to be a true statement at all. I'm amazed if that's a true statement.
Well, it says it's one of a number of old-fashioned hobbies, including what you've just said, knitting, needlework, gardening and baking, enjoying a renaissance amongst the young.
What's happened to getting bladderated and horizontal refreshment?
God knows. Do you know
what on earth is going on in this world?
Do you know drinking in
bird watching into
university colleges and university students' bars has been on the decline now for the last 10 years.
Really?
What's wrong with students these days?
Well, maybe they. I mean, there is certainly, and there has been a move, a bit like the stories in Absolutely Fabulous. The storylines where the kids are actually less crazed than the parents.
Yes.
And so because your parents are sort of drunks, then the kids decide to go completely the other way.
Yeah.
How about this? Bird Watching Magazine on Twitter.
Yeah.
31.8 thousand followers.
Right, well, how about that?
The UK's best-selling birding magazine, doing what we do best.
That's right, yeah. It says here, despite the hobby's reputation for swampy hides and heavy, expensive optical equipment, the highest proportion of people who said they'd spent time spotting birds were from London, where 1 in 3 people said they'd tried it. 1 in 3? That's rubbish. That's rubbish.
That can't be right. I don't know anyone.
1 in 3 people I know has been going to bird watching. Only 11% of people in Wales have done it. Well, Wales got millions of birds. Do you know there are, by the way...
Have you seen what they said the other day, the Welsh, saying that if Scotland gets independence, they want to get the independence as well?
I know, yeah. It's such a load of baloney, isn't it? It says here there's 574 species of birds in Britain.
Yeah.
The Royal Society for Protection of Birds and the British Trust for Ornithology, 2 of Britain's biggest bird charities, said that the number of young birders...
are they just making this up to get some publicity for themselves?
I don't know.
I'm out in the countryside quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
with the dog.
Yes.
I don't see hordes of young people or teenagers, with binoculars looking at birds.
This is the point. If you want to do it properly, you have to buy, optical equipment, which can cost up to £2,000.
Yeah, but I don't see anyone doing it, though.
Do they take pictures of the birds these days?
Yeah.
'Cause they never used to,
I'm sure they do.
No.
No, they did used to, because they used to have the big, long lenses.
No, for years. We don't take pictures, we just spot them.
There was a guy at Daily Star who was on the news desk there. Do you remember him? He was a bird watcher, twitcher.
He writes a column, I think, in the Sunday Express now. He's been in here, actually, didn't he, with the book once?
I think he was in here,
That's right, yeah. Forgotten his name. What's his name?
I've got his name as
nice
well.
Guy.
Very nice guy, but was a bird watcher extraordinaire.
Old Wolfman was a bird watcher extraordinaire.
Was he?
Yeah, old Neil Wallace.
Really? Didn't he get somebody else to do it for him?
No. He used to do it himself.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
How bizarre. Well, we've got lots of tweets to read out to you.
Certainly have.
It's got nothing to do with bird watching, but if you're into bird watching, then by all means let us know.
Yeah.
I'm staggered that's not a true. I can't be a true statement.
It is. It's research, man. Would I give you, it's from one of my journals.
Research, man.
Would I give you anything other than the truth?
I'm not saying that you're not reading the truth, but what I'm saying is that whoever's putting out that sort of information is probably doing it erroneously.
Kids aged about 16 from 4 a.m. onwards are heading to Brent Reservoir in North London for the chance to spot 2 North American visitors, a greater scout and a ring-necked duck.
I don't believe a word of it.
Yeah.
Absolute cobblers.
Yeah.
This is Talk Sport. Steve has sent in a tweet at the 2 Mics. He said, I bet Porky's favourite bird is a Luca cuckoo. Which is quite clever.
Yeah, quite like that.
Luca cuckoo.
Yeah.
Or possibly not until the summer anyway.
Yes, absolutely.
Depending on how that all works out. Now, what I was going to tell you about earlier was this when we were talking about cycle lanes and bus lanes and all that sort of thing. Apparently up in Hull, there's a Tesco's, right?
Yeah.
Which is situated in such a way that if you want to go into the car park, you have to cross a bus lane.
Right.
And all these people who are going to shop there are apparently now getting issued with traffic violation tickets.
Yes.
Because they're going into a bus lane which they're not supposed to go into.
Well, funny you should say that, because part of the problem with this, the latest one that's been imposed upon London people, the Westminster Bridge one.
Yeah.
And by the way, twice now I've put out pictures of Blackfriars Bridge at 10 o'clock in the morning, because it's just down the road from Talksport Towers here.
I see.
Which shows white van man queuing in their thousands to try and get over Blackfriars Bridge, whilst a cycle lane equal to the width of the amount of road space the white van man has is completely deserted and empty and a useless piece of tarmac. There are no cyclists on it.
I have to say,
and it is outrageous.
There are very small numbers of hours during the day when it's quite busy, but there are. I mean, I have seen those bus lanes. The cycle lanes quite busy towards the end of the rush hour and the beginning of the rush hour in the morning and the evening. Yeah,
that's no reason why for 2 hours a day they should be given a facility which for another 22 hours a day completely bars.
I don't know what the answer is
from using them. Well, the answer is you should scrap them because they're ridiculous. But what I was going to say is part of the problem with Westminster Bridge is if you think about it, on the side that we're on, there is St Thomas's Hospital, and the big problem is that there is an entrance to St Thomas's Hospital from the bridge, and they've been spending months working out very expensive methods of making sure that when people get off a bus, because they're going to a pedestrian entrance to St Thomas's Hospital, they don't walk straight into a cyclist who is on the cycle lane inside the bus lane.
Yes.
So you've got the cycle lane, the bus lane, and then, thank you very much, private motorists can have a little bit of space themselves.
There's no doubt that it's become quite dangerous now to navigate either as a pedestrian, because, I mean, there are certain sections, if you look, and I know that people are going to go, they're going on about it again.
Yeah.
But if you try on the north side of Blackfriars Bridge to work out which way everything's going, it's very confusing.
Of course it is.
Because the bikes are going the opposite way to the
Totally
traffic.
agree.
There's a light here, and then you look to your right, and there's another light, and all the lights are changing at different times. And it's a complete and utter situation of craziness.
Absolutely, complete mess.
Madness.
Now, down where you live in the country, right?
Yes.
Do you get many foxes?
Quite a few, yeah.
Yeah, foxes,
Quite a few. They're much more colourful than the ones I see in London.
What do you mean
But
colourful?
to be honest, well, they're like proper red foxes.
Oh, I see.
The ones you see in London are kind of mangy-looking creatures. I mean, I see more foxes, funnily enough, in London than I see in Sussex.
Right. Now then,
Are you listening to what I said?
Yes, I am listening. Yes, thank you. Would you ever adopt a fox?
No.
Why?
Why would I want to adopt a fox? It's a wild animal.
Well,
when you say adopt, do you mean just throw some money to somebody who says that it's going to go to a fox.
No.
Do you mean actually domesticate one?
I mean domesticate one and start feeding it and all this kind of stuff.
Absolutely
now,
not.
there is a gentleman who works in our business, okay, and his name is Zeb Soanes.
Zeb Soanes?
Yeah.
What business? When you say our business, what do you mean?
He's a Radio 4 announcer.
Is he?
Okay. And he does actually the shipping forecast.
Okay.
The calming voice of the shipping forecast.
Is that short for Zebedee?
I don't know, because I don't know the guy. But all I know is that he has become now the centre of tremendous controversy where he lives because he has befriended an urban fox.
Has he?
And this is the annoyance of some of his very well-heeled neighbours. He lives in one of these sort of, London suburbs which have become terribly popular and therefore property values have shot up and all that kind of stuff.
Who knew that reading the shipping forecast was such a lucrative gig?
Well, exactly, yeah, I didn't know it. But anyway, the point is... he's 40 years of age, right? He's named the animal Gaspard after a Ravel piano suite.
Oh, of course
so he's
he has.
obviously a very educated man.
Of course, super.
Yeah.
Marvellous.
And he shares pictures of himself feeding and petting it on social media.
Oh, yeah.
So friendly has Gaspard become that he waits on the doorstep of Mr. Soanes's, here, I'll get this, £500,000 flat in Islington. North London.
What is this guy? I mean, he reads the shipping forecast. Excuse me. I can't afford to live in a £500,000 flat in Islington. I'm paying this guy's wages.
Exactly, yeah.
Right?
It's true.
There's something wrong with this picture,
It's true, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. He also reads the news sometimes on Radio 4 shows, such as Today.
Okay.
And he's told people on his social networking, Gaspard is the handsomest fox in London.
Oh, yeah.
I feed him by hand, and I give him treats, including duck. And I'll get this, and I buy special cave-matured parmesan for him.
Very nice.
And I do take my friend Gaspard for walks along the high street.
Well, does he have him on a lead?
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But
see, foxes are quite wild animals, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and when I say quite wild, I mean they can be domesticated, I suppose, but they're not really sort of the sort of thing you can put in a house, are they?
Yes. Well, you see, this is interesting because a neighbour who is a management consultant, a gentleman called Ben Lonsdale, who is 32, is quoted as saying, "Foxes are wild creatures. You don't need to tame them or feed them." And another woman in the neighbourhood said, I see foxes all the time. They scavenge around for food. I'm more scared of them than they are of me. I don't agree with feeding foxes as it would encourage more to come. However, last night Mr. Soanes said, I began feeding Gaspard only after he injured a leg and said he would stop now that the fox appeared to have recovered. He said, I'm on very good terms with my neighbours. It's a small, friendly street, and I would not wish to cause any upset. Gaspard is the only fox I've seen at close quarters. Now that the fox's leg has recovered, I'll probably not offer him any more food.
But the problem with doing that to a fox, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit probably too late now anyway, because there's so many urban foxes around London.
Yes.
And so many of them find stuff to eat that they're just going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
But, it's not a good idea, I don't think, to domesticate a wild animal.
Funny enough, there's a pest controller here who's been asked for his opinion, and the guy's name is Peter Crowden.
Oh, yeah.
He said, feeding foxes will only increase their population. They can damage neighbourhoods. They kill kittens and rabbits, and they bury them.
And probably puppies as well.
Hey?
Probably puppies as well.
Yeah. Which then begins to cause a fly problem. They've also attacked children in the past.
Yeah.
They're very strong words, that, because I've never heard of a fox. Oh, yeah, foxes do get into houses.
Oh, they do sometimes. I mean, when in
children,
the summer months, when people leave their windows open, there have been cases of foxes getting into a house. And because they're animals, they might not mean to harm a child or to bite somebody, but they get nervous and they get, panicky, and then suddenly they start attacking things.
When I feel sorry for foxes is actually about this time of year, because where I live, down in Stockbroker Belt, I can be on a walk, right, you know, and suddenly I will just stop and, take a breather or something like that, and then when it's quiet, you'll see a fox coming out of a hedgerow.
Yeah.
But it'll have 4 little cubs with it. And the fox looks mangy. It doesn't look as though it's been able to support itself.
Well, I mean,
you wonder about the future of the little cubs, you see, and whether they're going to survive or not. And that's the only time I would feel that I should help, really, because they are all God's creatures.
Well, no, they're not all God's creatures.
They are.
The fact is that they're not meant to be wandering about in an urban environment. And the reason they're doing that is because they've been chased out of the environment they're supposed to be in because of the building work or something like that.
Yeah.
But, you can't be
man has done that.
You can't be artificially helping them.
Well, if we've artificially destroyed their environment, then we have a responsibility to make sure they don't perish due to the lack of food and exposure to the environment.
No.
I mean, anybody with a half a heart would say that.
You haven't even got half a heart.
I have.
You've only got a third of a heart.
How dare you? Yes, you're right, actually. I have only got a third of a heart. You're right, yeah. Absolutely true.
Well, I mean, I think you're being, once again, you're seeking the populace of the people listening.
Nine.
Hoping that they'll think you're a nice guy because you feel sorry for foxes.
No.
You don't really.
I do feel sorry for foxes. And by the way, can I say to our 57-year-old listener who wanted...
You still haven't found him, have you?
Yeah, I'm still looking. Who wanted a...
He's going to be 58 soon.
He's going to be 58 soon, that's right. Who wanted a shout-out that I am still looking for it, and I'm sure I'll find it before the end of the show, okay?
Well, confidence is high on that
yes,
one.
yes.
Meanwhile, if you would like to go and have a look at Postman Pork, which was recorded live on Facebook, you can see the link on Twitter and go to our Facebook page. You can watch it there if you can be bothered, if you missed it the first time around. We've got loads more coming up, including Heroes and Villains. This is Talk Sport.
Jimi Hendrix, yeah.
Foxy Lady.
Sorry?
Foxy Lady.
Foxy Lady,
Yeah.
oh, right, OK. I thought that was actually a tribute to Chuck Berry for a minute, which I'm sure excuse me, Jimi Hendrix will say he was influenced by Chuck Berry.
Well, he might do, but no, that was about foxes.
That was about foxes, yeah, because I raised the issue of the urban fox.
Yes, you did.
Which, of course, I've been battling on about for many, many years.
Well, you say that, but I mean,
Yes.
what have you actually done to help urban foxes? Have you made any sort of donations to any particular charities?
Well, I don't think that's the way to do it. I think the way to do it is try and educate, that if we stop knocking down the fox's environment, we wouldn't have to deal with the urban fox. Also, I was a big exponent of the introduction of solid plastic bins to stop foxes from ravaging rubbish and waste.
Now, have you seen this picture in the Daily Mail? It might have been in some other papers as well, but it's going to really upset you.
What?
So I'm not sure I should show it to you.
What is it?
It's a picture of what is currently being done to HMS Illustrious.
I don't wish to see it, thanks. Is it being taken apart in a Turkish scrapyard?
It's been taken apart in a Turkish scrapyard. Look at that.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't that shocking?
Well, I have seen that closer up because in Portsmouth, at the back of the harbour, there's what's called the graveyard, and when ships are decommissioned, they take them and they park them there before they're towed away for scrap. But what they do is they take off all the bits that are valuable or could be used again.
Bits which are presumably of high security, whatever.
That's all taken off. What they do there is, Mike, they take the ships up to Fastlane, where the submarines are based.
I do, in Scotland, yes.
And that's where they take off all the weapons that a ship has.
But it looks kind of almost undignified, the way that it's being done.
Well, it's terrible, but I mean, ships have to have a run of life which comes to an end. Otherwise, they'd be useless in battle, wouldn't they? Because they're obsolete. But they should be treated with some dignity when they go. That's what we'd like to do.
It was sold for £2.1 million to a Turkish company, Lael Ship Recycling Limited.
That's right. Yeah.
And they've been dismantling it for the best part of the last few months, basically.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm afraid it'll just go on and on.
I mean, why couldn't they have just turned it into a floating hotel or a museum?
Well, you see, I'm not for that at all, because that means massive maintenance costs. They never pay for themselves. They can't, because of the unusual nature of trying to put a sort of a working business on floating on water. It's ridiculous. It's never going to happen. Who's going to maintain it? I mean, even now, we have a yearly debate about who funds HMS Victory, which is the most famous warship in the world.
Yeah, down in Portsmouth.
Exactly. It's Nelson's flagship at the Battle of Trafalgar. And even that is subject year in, year out to debates about, pulling funding, increasing funding, the timbers are getting crushed, it needs more. And that is a very, very famous ship. I mean, although I'd love to see the ships preserved in some way or another, they haven't anything like the distinguished record of HMS Victory, and therefore you can't. They have to go. But I just wish they went with a bit more dignity, that's all.
It's a very upsetting picture anyway, I'm afraid to say.
Yeah, it is,
anyway, I just thought I'd bring it to your attention.
Now,
what are we going to do the quiz on this week, by the way?
The quiz? I'm working on that, don't worry. I'm working on that, No, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about which is very interesting, are cucumbers, right?
Cucumbers.
Now, the point is...
Why?
Hey?
Why?
Well, I'll tell you, because you see, at some stage, I think we're going to start issuing some recipes that you'll have put together for foods, because I have to say they've proved pretty popular.
They have. People are really liking the chicken curry one, actually. In fact, I think I might put a couple more up on the website soon.
Yes,
yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, what's happened is that the latest food that you should introduce into everything that you cook is freshly harvested greenhouse cucumbers.
Oh, yeah.
Because apparently scientists are now discovering they're a wonder food, okay?
Okay.
So
what, you're saying you put them in things?
Yes, you do. You chop them up and put them in things.
Uh-huh.
Now, there are three particular cucumbers I want to draw your attention to.
Yes.
The freshly harvested greenhouse cucumber, the slender and highly striped variety known as the Armenian cucumber.
I don't know that one.
And the distinctive squat-shaped white wonder cucumber, okay?
White one? What, so it's white?
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you a picture of it. See that? See that picture there I've got of these cucumbers?
Oh, yeah.
Now, that is a cucumber, even though it's white.
The striped one looks interesting
The striped one's very interesting indeed.
It looks like a marrow, doesn't it?
It looks like a marrow, but it's not. It's a cucumber. The white is a cucumber. And, of course, the traditional cucumber, which isn't even bent, actually. It's a straight cucumber, OK?
I may have to check all this out when I go next to Borough Market.
Yes, that's right. Now, if you looked at the definition of a cucumber in the Oxford English Dictionary, which I did when I started this research, OK, it says the name of a plant and fruit of that plant, right? But it's not. What you have to actually remember is that cucumbers are excellent for you. They're a source of great vitamin K.
Uh-huh.
They contain...
Vitamin K? I'm not even sure I know what that is.
Oh, vitamin K is essential to the body.
Is it?
Yeah. They contain lignans, okay?
Lignans?
Lignans.
I don't know what they are.
Lignans. They're little sort of microbes, okay?
Yeah.
Which it's now been proven, or thought to have been proven, reduce massively the risk of heart disease,
Really?
okay?
Okay.
Now, so when you mention to most people a cucumber, people think of a dark green, extended 12-inch long sort of tube, okay?
Well, I must admit, I generally only put cucumbers in a salad or possibly in a sandwich, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't really cook with them.
I used to love a chicken biryani with a cucumber layer on the top.
Well, yeah, we'd have a couple of slices of cucumber.
Yes, that's right, yes.
And an egg as well.
Well, I don't eat eggs, so I never had
I
it.
always liked a chicken biryani with a boiled egg.
No, I always took the egg off, to be honest, if they put it on. But anyway, let me tell you this.
But what else could you do with them, though?
Eh?
What can you do with them?
Well, all sorts of things. You should know. You're supposed to be a chef.
Yeah, but I'm saying I've never cooked with them. That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, let me tell you. Cucumbers, from my research, come in a very wide range of colours and shapes and sizes, and even textures.
Uh-huh.
Yellow. There's yellow ones, there's white ones, there's...
I've only ever seen green ones.
Striped ones, there's some in verdant shades. They can be round or slim, short or long, straight or curved.
Yes.
I'm reading this from my cucumber directory.
Cucumber directory?
Yeah. With either thick or thin skin that's flat. Sorry, what's your problem?
I've never heard of such a thing, a cucumber directory.
Yeah. When I discovered this is a miracle food, I got onto it.
How can I have lived all these years, right, without realising that cucumbers come in colours other than green?
Well,
I didn't know that.
You must have a bit of a gap in your knowledge, or you're a thickhead.
Yeah, well, I'm just not aware of all these different kinds of cucumbers.
Right.
I mean, are they available generally in this country? Because I've never seen them in a supermarket.
Well, funny you should say that. There are two types of cucumbers, okay?
Yeah.
Now, they have two groups. They are greenhouse and outdoor. Now, the first, the greenhouse, they need warm, sheltered conditions.
Oh, yeah.
They can be sown indoors from early spring. The outdoor varieties are tougher and require insect activity to ensure pollination. Right?
Insect what?
Activity to ensure pollination.
Right.
Bees. Got to pollinate them, all that kind of stuff, okay?
Right.
You either start them off now or you sow seeds directly into the ground in May, okay?
Right.
If you want to grow some outdoors, okay?
Right.
Like you could do down in the country.
I've never tried growing cucumbers.
Now, most produce male and female flowers. The female flowers have a baby fruit growing behind them, while male flowers have a plain stalk, okay? Outdoor cucumbers...
Can you not sort of edit this down a little bit? I don't think I need to know all this.
No, this is so interesting.
No, it's not.
Outdoor cucumbers...
You're supposed to be a journalist, right?
Yes, that's right.
Journalists are supposed to get to the point of the matter relatively quickly.
I am.
And you should be able to sort of... decant information in a way which is more understandable.
Modern breeding of cucumbers has led to a number of female indoor cucumbers that don't require flowers pinching off them, such as Carmen, Luxury and Bella brands.
Carmen.
Okay, Carmen, Luxury
Carmen
and Bella.
the cucumber.
So, what?
Doesn't require flowers.
Doesn't require flowers.
Sounds like a cheap date.
There is a variety of an 18-inch long dark fruit telegraph cucumber. And
what on earth are you going on about?
Well, I'm telling you all about them.
Why don't you tell me how you can cook with them instead of this ridiculous sort of long list of things that they can look like?
Hang on.
How do you cook them?
Well, what you do is you kind of steam them.
Steam them?
Yeah.
You don't boil them then?
There is one terrific cucumber, and believe it or not, it's the most popular amongst the aficionados of cucumbers.
Aficionados?
And it is called the Burpless Tasty Green. And it's
Really?
Yeah, and
I've never seen anything other than organic cucumbers and non-organic cucumbers. There's only two kind of cucumbers I've ever
now
seen.
you're asking about cooking. The Bush Champion cucumber.
Bush Champion
Produces a crop on compact plants, which makes it suitable for a large stewing pot. The White Wonder forms 8-inch long chunky fruit with pale ivory skin. Ideal.
Where are you getting all this from?
From the Cucumber Directory.
The Cucumber Directory?
Yeah.
It sounds horrendous.
Why?
I don't think I would want to cook a cucumber.
Why?
Because I don't think it lends itself to a cooked flavour.
Why not?
It's very nice raw, and it's very nice in salad, but I don't think you would want to cook it.
Of course you would.
Why?
Anybody in the right mind would like to get into cucumbers.
Well, what would you cook it in then, for example?
What would you cook a cucumber in?
would you put it in shepherd's pie? No. Would you put it in spaghetti bolognese? Probably not.
Yes, but you would put it into a vegetable bolognese. You see what I mean? It would be the main constituent.
I don't think it would. No, it wouldn't be.
Yeah,
Tomatoes would still be your main constituent.
No. It'd be
what, so you're going to make
honestly.
cucumber sauce with pasta?
Yes, you would. Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
It'd be horrendous.
You would, honestly.
It'd be horrible.
But anyway, I thought I should bring this to the attention of our millions of listeners because they are probably as ignorant of cucumbers as you are.
Well, that's very possible, but you haven't really given us any information other than to tell us that there are lots of different types of cucumbers that you can't buy in any supermarket in this country.
Well, you go and ask for them. It's a bit like my porky scratchings.
Oh, yeah.
Ask for them, and they will have to be supplied.
I see.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather
Don't you
cook with
understand
them.
these things?
No, I don't understand.
You see, I've found
at
this
all.
as a trait of you. If you're ignorant of something, you just dismiss it as being useless or it
Not
doesn't
true.
matter or nobody cares.
That's not true.
I try to broaden our listeners' minds. I try to broaden their depth of knowledge. I try to broaden their...
But you're not interested in anything other than what you're talking about. So as long as you're talking about it, you find it interesting.
Yeah, but you just dismiss because you don't like your ignorance to be exposed. The fact that you know nothing about cucumbers is a shameful episode for you.
It's not that I don't know anything about cucumbers. It's that I'm not aware of the ability to cook with them, and I don't think I would cook with them because I don't particularly like the flavour.
Yeah.
And when I ask you to provide me with information, all you do is read out sort of Dalek-like some kind of nonsense that you've got in front of you.
Rubbish.
Really?
You're making a ridiculous assumption once again.
I see. OK, well, we've got Heroes and Villains coming up. Let's see if you can do any better. This is Talk Sport. That music can only mean one thing. It is, of course, time for the very, very feisty competition, which is known as Heroes and Villains. I think I'm leading it by a factor of about, is it 7-3 or something like that?
You make it up every time.
Well, no, I just can't remember because I'm always in the lead. It's never been close enough to have to remember the actual number, but I think it's about 7-3 or something like that.
Yes,
but,
okay.
7-2, in fact, I'm just told it is.
Right.
Would you like the honour of going first in order to
yes, I'll go first.
Some advantage in this
I'll
particular
go first.
game?
Yeah.
Well, up to you whether it's a hero or a villain, really.
I'll go first with my first villain.
OK, go on.
My first villain is a joint enterprise between Nike and the Football Association for producing the dark blue shirt that England are going to play in against West Germany, or even Germany, on Wednesday night.
West Germany and East Germany.
West Germany and East Germany. Combined together, they are Germany. On Wednesday night, because, frankly, I can see no reason for it whatsoever. No. England's traditional colours, of course, do clash with the national colours of Germany.
Well, hang on, they
However,
played them in the
our
1966 Cup final,
our second colours are red.
Exactly.
And why we ever would need a third colour, a dark blue, is beyond me. I find that villainous to the extreme.
I have to say I agree with you. Now I know why you were so quiet about this earlier when I raised the question just before we did the show. I said, what do you make of this? Well, I didn't know because you were saving it up for your your own heroes and villains. But not a bad one to start off with.
Yes.
My first one is going to be the ridiculous situation in Paris. I don't know if you saw the Six Nations at the weekend.
Yes.
The referee by the name of Wayne Barnes. We spoke to Mr. Campese, David Campese, yesterday
we did.
on the Warm Down show.
We did.
And he said this referee is possibly the worst referee in rugby union, right? This is a guy who allowed an extra 20 minutes of play because France were sort of on Wales' try line, and he kept taking them back. He kept giving them penalties. He didn't give 3 penalties that Wales should have got.
Right.
And in the end, they got the 5 points to square the match.
Okay.
And then they got the 2 points after the conversion to win the match, right?
Yes.
And it was absolutely shambolic. And I think anyone who knows anything about the way rugby operates knows that this was an absolute and utter travesty that took place. They also had this ludicrous situation where at one point they went to the video ref, right?
Yeah.
Because there was an allegation of a bite. And what they said was that they wanted the match officials to check whether or not the person who had been bitten may have bitten himself.
I saw that.
It was mad.
Yeah,
The whole thing was mad. And they looked at the video footage and couldn't find anything evidence-wise of somebody either biting themselves or being bitten.
Exactly.
So they didn't do anything about it.
Right.
And now the rugby union officials are sort of saying, well, we may have to kind of go back and revisit all of this videotape. So I think he is definitely the villain of the weekend. The biggest villain, Wayne Barnes.
Right, OK, Wayne Barnes.
Thank you.
Yeah, OK, right, fine. OK, well, a little bit obtuse, but I see where your reasoning's coming from.
It was one of the most ridiculous overtimes ever in a game of rugby international level rugby union at that level.
OK, shall I go for the first hero?
You can do either or.
OK, I'll go for my first hero.
Yeah.
And my first hero, in fact, a heroine, without a shadow of a doubt, it is 100 yesterday. There'll be blue.
Ah, yes. Well, people have asked about whether we should mention Vera Lynn.
The white cliffs of Dover. Vera Lynn.
Very good.
She is my first heroine.
Funny enough, Trevor had sent a tweet in which I wanted to read out to you earlier, in which he said, please give Vera Lynn a mention. The great lady was 100 yesterday.
Exactly.
She did a huge amount for us Oldens who lived through World War II.
That's right, she definitely did.
So there we are.
The bluebirds referred to, by the way, in that song were not bluebirds as birds. That was the colloquial name for Spitfire pilots because of their blue uniform,
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Yes.
Well, that's very nice.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to do my first hero of the weekend. I'm going to make it Rory McIlroy.
Okay.
Because Rory McIlroy's had a bit of a rough year so
Didn't
far.
win anything, though, did he?
He came very close to winning because he's not been playing terribly well. He's had a couple of injuries. He was criticised very, very much for playing golf with Donald Trump, which I thought was a bit unfair because if the President of the United States asks you to play a round of golf with him and you know the guy, you're probably going to say yes, and he didn't really think that he was going to be castigated for it.
Sure.
There's only 3 weeks until the Masters at Augusta, so I think this weekend that he peaked and very nearly did win the tournament down in Florida, that I think it's a good sign, and lots of golf watchers are saying this is exactly the right time for Rory to get his game back to the A game that he needs.
Yes,
and he played very well in the last couple of final days of this tournament. So
indeed,
he's my hero of the weekend.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'll go for my second villain.
Go on.
My second villain is Francesco Becchetti, who is the owner of Leyton Orient.
Oh, yes.
Now,
I thought he was paying the bill for him.
Well, the problem is that when Leyton Orient was run by Barry Hearn and, his company, Matchroom and all that kind of stuff, it worked and they didn't have any great crises. And then Barry Hearn sold the club to Mr. Becchetti. It only just avoided going literally into liquidation.
Yes.
When at the 11th hour the tax bill was paid. Mr. Becchetti has now said he will inject another £1 million in, but even you commented earlier,
well, £1 million
to a football club will last a month.
In football these days, I mean, even at Leyton Orient's level, I don't think they'll pay the wage bill for very long.
And the thinking is that it's going to take an awful lot more than that, and the fans need an awful lot more assurances for the club to survive than just another £1 million. I know it sounds ridiculous, but in an age when footballers get paid that in a month in some leagues in this country, £1 million isn't going to last forever. Doesn't seem to be any cogent plan to secure the future of Leyton Orient. They're in a perilous position, according to their own fans.
Yeah.
And I think Mr. Becchetti needs to get a grip. He is my second villain.
Well, at least they have paid the tax bill, though, so it's given them a bit of a stay of execution. So we shall see how that goes on. But there may be somebody else who's going to buy into the club. My second villain is going to be the Labour Party, basically, because we now live in a time where the Labour Party should be very, very important, right? We've got a Tory government.
Yes.
We've got Brexit going on. We've got Scotland's independence debate happening.
Yep.
And yet the Labour Party seems completely and utterly incapable of forming any kind of opposition to, one, the government in London, and also to the government in Edinburgh, because they're not even the second most important party now in Scotland, which is ridiculously hard to believe, considering, what the history of Labour in Scotland is all about, right?
Yes.
Gordon Brown last week went up and said he was going to start offering them some VAT reductions.
Yeah.
Jeremy Corbyn says that he's not going to step down. Last night there was a massive row down in Westminster between the Parliamentary Labour Party and people like Tom Watson, who apparently is trying to stop it being taken over by the left-wing mad people. And it's just a complete shambles. So it's an entire... It's not just Jeremy Corbyn, it's all the people that are around him who are trying to steer it even further to the left.
And you get the feeling it's getting more shambolic by the day.
It is. And as a result, the Tories are getting away with whoever they like, because there's nobody really picking them up on anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So, the former chairman of the Parliamentary Labour Party spoke last night to Seamus Milne, who is Jeremy Corbyn's kind of, chief strategist, right? Former Guardian journalist, and said he was a disgrace.
Seamus Milne,
shocking state of affairs,
totally agree.
Absolutely horrendous.
Totally agree.
Horrendous. So that's my second point is the entire Labour Party.
Right. Okay. So I go to my second hero.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt, it's got to be Jermaine Defoe.
Jermaine,
who spoke up today as the first England player to step forward and talk about the forthcoming internationals to reveal, which I thought was fantastic, that for the last 3 years, no matter how many new pair of boots he's had, he's always had them made and delivered by his sponsor with the England three lines.
Yeah, and he said
symbol.
people were making fun of him.
Yeah, and despite the fact that he's had the mickey taken out of him during training all these years at the different clubs he's been at, he said, no, one of these days I'll be back. I'm never taking that logo off my boots. And sure enough, he was back today with that logo on his boots, and he lives a lifestyle of the purest and cleanest way of living.
Drink, does he?
Doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, completely teetotal, is a God-fearing boy.
Decent guy.
And terribly decent guy, because also...
normally you would have a go at people who are teetotal as being boring.
No, not at all.
And you don't admire people who don't drink.
But also, on top of all that, in addition to, committing himself to to his profession football to an extent where he's still at the top at 34 years of age, so unusual for a footballer. He's also been a major player in helping the little boy with cancer at Sunderland, who he's more or less adopted.
Bradley, isn't it?
Yeah, Bradley, absolutely.
Yes.
So I would have to say he is a true hero.
Yeah, OK. I think if you play for England in whichever category and for how long and how many games, you should be allowed to keep the England thing on your boots anyway, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I would have thought so, to say I'm an England international. Yeah,
but you've earned it.
Yeah,
so
but
why should you not have it?
It's like in any profession, if they think you're a falling star, people try to take the mickey. They would try to take the mickey out of you and me if we weren't broadcasting at the highest level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I wouldn't care about that.
No, well, I wouldn't either, really. But you know what it's like.
I'd be like the guy in the pub and give you some kind of hand gesture.
Yes.
Now, my second hero, you're going to like this one.
Yeah.
Second hero of the week, because, as you would say, without a shadow of a doubt, the hero that I'm now going to point to is an Everton football player.
Yes.
His name is Romelu Lukaku.
Yes.
And the reason he's a hero is because he has identified his future. Yeah. And he's decided that, he wants to play Champions League football.
Yep.
He wants to move on. He is therefore very, very ambitious, the kind of thing you admire in a footballer.
Yes.
And I think that when it does come for him to part company with Everton, he will thank them.
Yeah.
I think he's served them well as a servant of the club. I think they've had a good running innings with him.
Yeah.
And it's just time now for him to move on. Yeah. And so I think, taking the bull by the horns is the sort of thing that I would expect a star player to do.
Yes.
And I think he's done that with great aplomb.
Yeah, okay.
And he's also managed to do it while keeping the fans on side, which I think is also good.
Well, to be perfectly honest, if I was going to make that choice, I'd have chosen the Everton fans in Gladys Street as the hero of that situation, because...
Well, that's why you are you and I am me.
Yeah, because they had to accept the grindingly disappointing news that there was at least a stall in the contract negotiations, and they could have been bitter about it, and they could have felt disgruntled, but they didn't. When he came out, they gave him a rousing reception. When he scored 2 goals and bowed at the Gladys Street at the end, he was treated like a hero.
Yes, well,
which you've nominated him,
yeah, I've nominated him as a hero because he's taken that and moved on with it, and that is the point. So those are the heroes and the villains.
Indeed,
Mr. Levine will now choose between them.
Yeah,
and come and tell us what
better
his
get his
verdict
act
is
together as well.
Very, very shortly. I wouldn't be too antagonistic towards him if I were you, because that might result in minus points for your heroes and villains.
I don't think so.
Well, we shall see. This is TalkSport.
The Two Mics. Simulcast across the UK on Talk Sport and Talk Radio.
Today you and I are not the same. You say you like the sun, I like the rain. So before we go, do it all again. You better catch your own train.
This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mics. In case you missed it earlier, Postman Pork was recorded live on Facebook, so if you want to go and find that, look for our Facebook page, and we will be putting out a link as well on Twitter. We've got Dave Levine here who's going to be giving us his Solomon-like view on which heroes and villains he preferred. Before we do that, let me just read you a few cucumber-type reaction tweets.
That was a fascinating feature, that.
I wouldn't say that everybody agrees with that. Pete says this: I'm wishing I could unlisten to the cucumber chat, Porky.
What?
You've got far too much time on your hands.
What do you mean?
Def says cucumbers are like Porky, bland, green, tasteless, curved, and only noticed when combined with superior flavours.
What?
KB says, I was about to have a shave, but I might cut my own throat now after Porky's cucumber rubbish.
Honestly, the lack of appreciation for an artistic subject when we discuss it in this programme quite shocks me.
Don says, how can I sleep when El Planco comes out with your cucumber directory? Haven't seen the time. I'm 57, but I'll be 58 at 4:15.
Yeah.
So I think all round, I think you'd say that the cucumber chat was in fact not worth doing.
Listen, that's 4 people out of the millions that we've got out there who all appreciate it very much indeed.
Well, I could read you more.
No, you don't have to. I know when you want to pick out the...
David says, I was once served a lamb roast marinated in vinegar sauce with onion and cucumber. Very nice. Well, you can use it as a relish.
Well, there you go.
I make cucumber writer, that's fine, but I've never cooked with cucumber.
There's the indoor cucumber and the outdoor cucumber. That's what you've got to remember.
Is that like indoor slippers and outdoor slippers?
Sort of, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Levine is here.
Right.
Hello. Good morning to you. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Thank you. Handing me an envelope. Thank you very much. As usual, there's the taunting...
It's currently 7-2, okay?
I don't think it is, but anyway, I don't keep count. I seek no sense of superiority.
He keeps count. It's 7-2.
And what time would you... What score?
7-2.
7-2.
Rubbish. Right, anyway, it says on the front the winner is.
Yeah.
So there's a tease. Now, because Mr. Lewin is so predictable, I anticipate when I open this, it'll say Mike.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, look, it says Mike.
Yeah.
And then when I finally open it up, it says Porky Parry. Woo, 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 woo.
Show him exactly what it says.
It says Parry, woo, woo, woo.
Have you not got any...
Speaking of being predictable, he predicted the woos.
Have you not got anything nasty to say about Mr. Levine now?
No, not at all. No, I've always found the man to be a paragon of intellectual
really? You're so transparent,
individuality,
aren't you? So that makes it 7-3 then. Would you like to tell us why?
Actually, I thought they were all very strong, but I agree very strongly with Porky's Blue England shirt and Leighton Orient as the losers, and Defoe and Vera Lynn as the winners.
Yes, I think that was a lot better than mine, I have to say.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Lukaku is where you lost it for me, MG.
Really?
You were all very strong.
Well, to be honest, I only put Lukaku in there to wind him up.
Yes, exactly.
I didn't really. I mean, I'm so far ahead that I thought I could sacrifice one of my wins. Just in order to.
Well, there's only a few weeks left in this. You could do it every week just to make it interesting.
7-3. I mean, he's got to win 4 in a row to get anywhere near level.
I wouldn't take the risk, pal, in the form I'm in. I'm telling you.
The form you're in.
Yeah,
you're losing
1 in a row.
7-3.
I wouldn't take the risk.
1 in a row.
You're losing 7-3.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
The other game we play, which we play on Saturday, which is the 1 minute moan, I think it's 9-2 at the moment to me. So, I mean, I wouldn't say you're, in great form at all.
I don't think so. I wouldn't worry about that.
There's still time for a comeback.
Yeah, well,
of course
you can try. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Levine. Chris says this: I can't wait for the podcast so I can hear more about the cucumbers again.
Well, exactly, yeah. I'll tell you what, it's
and
honestly,
hashtag Jesus wept.
It's excuse me. It's a subject which fascinates people around the world. Anything to do with exotic food will get people's interest. Now, listen, I want to tell you something about British Airways. Okay,
British Airways.
Yeah. Now, you know that obviously...
I could tell you something interesting about British Airways, but I'll save it for when we might have some plans for travelling.
Oh, OK, that's good, yeah. Now, the situation is, I, of course, always like to travel in a decent seat when I fly on an aeroplane. Okay?
You like to travel first class?
Not really. I prefer business, actually.
Do you?
But the thing is that BA has now been forced, unfortunately, to make a few cuts to the upper class seats, i.e. first and business.
Right.
For instance, they're cutting down on the amount of fresh flowers they put in the loos in that part of the plane.
Really? Well, that's not a bad
Do you
thing,
think that's a
is
bit
it?
harsh?
Well, to be honest, I've never flown British Airways business class. I think apart from inside Europe, and I don't remember noticing any fresh flowers in the loos. To be honest.
Yeah. Well, I think that's quite an essential little touch.
Really?
Now, staff on the British Airways have attacked the cuts. Fresh flowers in some first and club class toilets being curtailed, and fewer spirits and magazines on offer. And sometimes some other little perks you get, which you're going to have to start asking for now, rather than coming
spirits.
as well.
Well, I mean, I suppose it would make sense for them to cut back a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, is this all part of the, the dispute that they're currently having, where some of the flight crews are going on strike and some of them are not?
I don't think so.
No?
I think it is. I think it is literally an economy measure to try and compete with some of the emerging economy flights across the Atlantic and that sort of stuff.
Yes,
okay,
indeed, yeah.
So it says that one business class passenger says, my recent business class trips have been blighted by the ban on free wine. I thought the ban on free wine was only in economy. I thought you still got the free booze in.
Well, do you know, when I went to America most recently, I booked the ticket through British Airways, but I actually flew on an American Airlines plane.
Right.
And the booze was all free.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I don't know whether...
As much as you wanted.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and you were in economy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, it says faulty entertainment systems, a reduction in menu options in the lounge. Oh, I see. That could be...
Oh, in the lounge,
blighted by the
yeah.
ban on free wine, in the lounge. And cutting baggage allowance from 3 to 2. By the way, did you see the picture of the baggage handlers over the weekend?
No.
There's a company employed to do the baggage for airlines.
At Heathrow or something.
At Heathrow, Gatwick and all that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they had an undercover observer.
Oh, yes.
Who was treating the luggage terribly.
No.
I mean, literally chucking it on the
chucking
floor,
it around,
jumping on it, all sorts of stuff.
Have you ever had a bag sort of burst open when you were travelling?
I have. And clearly the stuff has all been stuffed back in, you know.
Do you know, there was a time in the 90s, probably the early noughties, I suppose you would say.
Yes.
When friends of mine, and when I was living in Glasgow, I used to fly backwards and forwards to London quite a bit.
Yes.
Quite a lot of stuff was stolen.
Yeah.
For a period of time.
Well,
and nobody could do anything about it. You know, sunglasses, perfume, clothes.
Heathrow used to be called Thief Row.
Yeah.
Because in the days before we got wise on secure baggage and all that kind of stuff, all sorts of things were lifted out of bags.
Yeah, but except now you can't lock.
Yeah.
You're told not to lock your bag now because it may need to be inspected, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So they're coming for a bit of stick here. However, I still really believe in flying the flag. Now, for instance, I told you that I thought if you go off on a holiday this summer, because I want to be in the southern hemisphere, I might...
You're going to go to New Zealand.
Yeah, I might take a short trip to New Zealand. Now, it would be really a really great adventure to sort of, get off down to Heathrow Terminal 5 and climb on board a New Zealand Airlines plane, because I've never been on that flight.
Oh, what, rather than British Airways?
Well, this is what I'm thinking, to climb on board a New Zealand Airways flight and fly to Auckland or wherever they go to.
Wellington, maybe?
Wellington, that's
or
right.
Auckland, probably both.
And that would be a great new experience. I remember the first time I flew, for instance, on Qantas.
Yes.
The first time I flew on United...
I've never been on Qantas.
United Airlines.
I've been on all the big American ones.
Yeah, that's what I mean, American.
Delta.
Delta. The first time I flew on El Al. The first time I flew on...
Have you been on Emirates?
Emirates out to Dubai, yeah, that's right. And when you go on a new aeroplane, which is not yours, it's always an exciting experience to see what they've got. And even Iceland Air, for instance, when I went to Iceland and all that.
Yeah.
However, I feel I would be treacherous not to go to Heathrow Terminal 5 and climb on board a British Airways jumbo going to Auckland.
Yeah.
I really do.
Because you feel at this time it might be good to give them your money, maybe. Is that
well,
what you
not
think?
just that, but I like the feeling of going halfway around the world and flying into New Zealand on an aeroplane that's got the Union Jack on its tail fin. You know what I mean?
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah. So what I might do is a compromise.
Go one way with them and one way with the other.
Exactly, to see what the experience is like.
Maybe you should get one of those round the world tickets. And you might be able to use a different airline. I don't mean
I know.
I don't mean you have to go around the world, but you could go that way and then come back the other way.
Well, the funny thing is,
I've said like San Francisco, New York.
Now, funny thing is, I've said to you that I haven't been to New York recently enough, and I want to plug that gap in my travel itinerary. So I did think of going from here to New York.
Yeah.
and a couple of days.
Yeah.
New York, LA, one day. That's
Yeah.
all I need to go in the King's Head and have a few beers there and watch a bit of football in Santa Monica.
Uh-huh.
And then Santa Monica to New Zealand. Now, that wouldn't be bad, would it?
You could do it. You could go by, I think you maybe stop off in Hawaii maybe for,
That's right, something like
for
that,
a day, which I'd love to go to Hawaii. Actually.
Yeah, so I've thought
I've
about
never
doing
been
that. The only problem is, if you did that in a week, you'd spend about 4 days of that week in the air.
In the air.
Yeah.
Which you might want then to have to do in a nice seat.
Oh, well, it'd
obviously.
definitely be a nice seat. That would be a business class trip around the world.
But you might be able to get, one of these deals whereby...
That's what I mean.
Because you're flying quite a lot.
Yeah.
So it might be quite fun to do.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we might be going to New York anyway. You never
we
know.
might be going to New York, absolutely.
In which
We're trying
case,
to fix that up.
that particular sort of
gap
avenue.
in my knowledge, yeah.
No, well, just the fact that we might be going there maybe in September as well.
Yeah.
That could work.
Absolutely.
Here's one from Nick who says, pepper, onions, or whatever you prefer, and you'll enjoy it, MG. Overnight cucumber is the key.
Yeah.
And drain it through.
Well, there you go.
I presume there must be something else apart from that. Because,
There you go.
That doesn't make any sense on its own.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I shall check out this cucumber lot and see. David says this: the only way Jerry Mander and Levine picked Porky as a winner of H&V is if Porky gave him a bigger sling.
No, I didn't give him a sling at all.
Sling.
He just realised, a
This
bung.
is the one guy that
bung.
always tweets about Dave Levine. Yeah, he just doesn't. Doesn't like Dave Levine at all. I don't know why.
Well, there can be people like that. What can you do about it? Nothing you can do about it, mate.
Yeah, okay then. We've come to the end of the show again.
The end of the show.
Shocking. This is Talk Sport.
Look at the light!
Don't forget to follow the Two Mics at the Two Mics on Twitter and on YouTube. Just look for Two Mics TV.
There's yellow ones, there's white ones, there's
I've only ever seen green ones.
striped ones, there's some in verdant shades. They can be round or slim, short or long, straight or curved.
Yes.
I'm reading this from my cucumber directory.
Cucumber directory?
Yeah. With either thick or thin skin that's flat. Sorry, what's your problem?
I've never heard of such a thing, a cucumber
Yeah,
directory.
when I
How can
discovered
have
this
lived
is a
all
miracle food, I got onto it.
How can I have lived
I got
all these
onto it.
years, right, without realising that cucumbers come in colours other than green?
Well,
I didn't know that.
You must have a bit of a gap in your knowledge,
Well,
or
I
you're a
do.
thickhead. It's one of a number of old-fashioned hobbies, including what you've just said, knitting, needlework, gardening and baking, enjoying a renaissance amongst the young.
What's happened to getting bladderated and horizontal refreshment?
God knows. Do you know
what on earth is going on in this world?
Do you know drinking in university colleges and university students' bars has been on the decline now for the last 10 years?
Really?
What's wrong with students these days?
If you love the Two Mics podcast, you'll love the live show. Weekday overnights from 1am on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM and via the TalkSport app. TalkSport, your Premier League station with exclusive commentaries every weekend.
What an absolute corker!
TalkSport.
Bar Avenue. Bar Avenue.